Big up, big up, big up, big up. Welcome. And I would like to say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever we're reaching you in the world. Welcome to the Liverpool 12th Man Show. I've got with me JK and Brian to do this review show of a really, really nail-biting game that we had against Nottingham Forest, who was a team that we, struggled to beat away. And we got the result. That's all that matters is 3 points. So let me bring in JK. How are you doing today?
All good, bro. I hope you're well. And you, Brian.
For sure, for sure. And Brian, how are you doing? Say hello to the people and say hello.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, JK. Right back at it. Hope everyone's doing well.
Absolutely,
Settled
absolutely.
down yesterday.
Yeah. It's always like I said, I could be doing better if United could have done us a favor today. But hey, you know what? I'm just happy. I'm just happy that we got the result yesterday for our own selves. So that's the most important thing. Who cares what the other teams do as long as we do what we need to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Big up to Indian Scouser in the house. Steven, big up, Steven. Red for life. My guy, Red for life. Big up, big up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? A lot of different how do you put it? A lot of different different takes on yesterday. I know we had a lot of people that were turning off their TVs, that were giving up, for basically giving up and conceding that we weren't going to get any result or any type of point, much less any result in this game. How are you feeling? How are you feeling, JK? What were some of the emotions? And do tell me in the chat how you guys were coping with our play or with our results yesterday until we obviously got that big result. But all the same, leading up to that point, how are you feeling about the game?
All in all, it was like the Chelsea game. I knew it was coming, but I don't know when. Like Christmas. No, not like Christmas, whatever it is. And so yesterday, I just had a feeling at the end when their fans started singing nonsense songs for about 5-10 minutes. I said, we're getting a goal here, but I didn't know from who. So I was calm until we scored, bro. I just felt that the whole situation of the Forest, we haven't won there in years and stuff, and Klopp's last chance to beat them there. I said it's made for us today, and then when Darwin got that goal, perfect. I think we deserved the 3 points, even though they had maybe one or two good chances to actually score as well. But for me, their fans singing loads of just horrible songs and stuff, it always for some reason, gives our team energy to go and get that win. So job done.
Yeah. Brian, what were your thoughts about the game? Like, and obviously we can all understand, the great last minute goal that we got from Darwin is one thing, but I'm just saying up to, let's say the 98 minutes, the first 98 minutes, what were you thinking? Or how are you feeling at least?
Well, before you scored, I was getting ready, looking forward to taking a week off YouTube because if that had finished up like that, I was not looking forward to the likes of these shows for until we got a chance to put it to bed and get another good result against Prague or something like that. Because we were we good? I don't know. Were we bad? Were we poor? Were we not able to finish our chances? Were we not able to create chances? I don't know. It was a really kind of scrappy game, but it was the one thing I said. I think I backed this 3-1 or something. But I said it was going to be a tough, physical, hard game. And they really did make it like that. It was a very, like JK was saying, the way the crowd kicked off made it all the sweeter to go and do it in the end. But kind of trying to put that out of your mind, what they were doing was, fairly admirable as a team. They were making it very difficult for us to get anything together. We didn't look until the boys came on, we didn't look until we had any real, like JK was saying, he didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't see who was scoring. I didn't see, it was going to be a lucky break or it was going to be something. But it's just not so. You just can't be doing it. You can't be doing 98, 99-minute last winners to keep us going. But yeah, huge relief at the
It's
end.
great
But
when
throughout the game, yeah,
yeah,
throughout the
exactly,
game,
exactly. Yeah,
there was nothing that made me think. Like I thought McAllister was excellent on the ball. I thought a few of the guys looked all right, but maybe are we tired? Are we a bit worn out? Is it the constant changing of lineups and positions and
yeah, yeah,
all of that?
yeah,
But yesterday looked like me calling it, a typical nil at halftime. Klopp will get in, just being complacent, thinking we're always bad in the first half. But it looked like we could have played for a week and not scored until we got that. And I'm going to call it like Darren did well, but it was that bit of class and composure by McAllister to not rush it, to turn
big
back
help.
inside and
Yeah,
just put it back in. That was because he did something previous, about 5 minutes previously. He was passed away. He was pressed by three Forest players. Just one touch and turn. He dumped three of them in midfield and just
yeah,
glided away from. Just really graceful under pressure, really calm, and that's what kept it together for us at the end. Because a different player might rush that and hit the first man or something, but he had the presence of mind and the calmness, just the composure to do that. Just that
yeah.
one piece of class in the game, and it
All you
won it
need.
for him.
Yeah, it's all you need. Yeah. And he is a classy player. I'm actually the game. I've watched the game back twice now, and it's even on the background now for a third time. It's in like the 80th minute here, and it was when I think it was Dominguez. I think his name is right. Got the that was it looked like a pretty bad cramp. He wasn't. I don't think he was faking it. Trying to get off the pitch, and you saw Lucho and you saw McAllister go over and hope that he's well and everything else. Ask him, hope that he's okay. But yeah, there's a lot of other little things that happened in the game that kind of made you wonder. Were we tired, as you so definitely eloquently put, or maybe it's the familiarity with some of these players. We're playing with youth. Maybe we just met a team that's prepared, that's organized well enough to take on the mixture of youth and veterans and players playing out of position like Gomez. I was just on Quasi Bowl TV, big up Quasi Bowl TV, and we were debate. Zabiri had an interesting take of saying that he thinks that we should develop Gomez into a 6. I disagree.
Recency bias in full effect.
I disagree, to say the least. I mean, if you saw the broadcast or you watched it on replay, you'll see my my little bit of a head scratch there. But all the same, everyone's welcome to their opinions. But yeah, it was a very interesting take. And how do you guys feel about that? How about we'll start with that too? Do you think that he's played well in the 6, or you think that he's got a future in the 6, or is it more so, and personally, I think the biggest contradictory to that is when we saw Endo get in the game, the team played better than when Gomez was in at the 6. But that, I'm not saying that's complete on Endo. I'm just saying that is something I recognize. But how are you guys? Yeah. What are your takes on that? Brian, you want to start off?
Yeah, look, if Zubi, if that's what his opinion on something is, then that's cool. Let him have at it. Let him, run with it. It's not something that would ever have occurred to me. It's like I said, it might be a lot of recency bias. It's we've seen him do that. It might be overthinking it to go, hang on a minute, why don't we? And then you end up down the road of trying to get Gomez into defense. I'd rather just either play one or buy one. Put put Joey back into the role that we've been saying he's been so instrumental in this season, which is basically allowing us to rotate our back 4 and have him at left back, right back. When we'll be more defensive side, we can put him in instead of an attacking fullback. Let him go back to doing that, because like you said, as soon as Endo came on, you saw what happens when you have a real defensive midfielder in there rather than someone who probably just given a limited set of parameters to do a job in, for the day, and just to sit in and say we want you to do this today and do that today, but this isn't a career change, basically. I think he's fine where he is.
Yeah. JK, you want to tackle that one too, or you want to just leave it alone?
No, I think Gomez, the only position he can't play is goalkeeper, probably, because he's a good footballer. You know what I'm saying? He's a good footballer.
Okay, he might not be that good a striker. I think. Apparently, he doesn't score much. Apparently, he doesn't score much. Well, maybe
That's
not as a
problem,
number one.
But all in all, man, this season, that guy there, Gomez,
Brilliant.
He's up there, probably player of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that now.
Yeah.
I don't care, man. No matter what Klopp's asked of him, he's done it, and that's good to see. It's good to see.
Yeah, Beijing Pops has a theory that he has an agenda behind that. He wants to save FSG some money.
Maybe he's got
quite possibly.
Well, we were saying it the other night, JK. I said if we win the league, he won't get it because it'll be some other. There'll be a more kind of a bigger name, but he'd be equal player of the year if we win the league. He won't get it. He won't get I know any of the kind of players player of the year awards or anything like that. But I think if we win the league, if you were to ask Klopp or Van Dijk or maybe a Mo Salah to name the most important players in the team that season, every single one of them is putting Gomez right in there because he's allowed us through this injury crisis that we might not have been able to get through. Otherwise, I'm with you. He's up there for player of the season.
We should ask the chat what do they think player of the season. I think Virgil's up there as well, personally.
Yeah.
The half player or 3/4 of the season done player of the season, I guess.
No, but we can look through the future, bro.
Yeah.
Now, I think the way Van Dijk has played this season, he's in this routine now where he's the boss again. And you can see in every game he's played in this week, especially, he even played the first half against Southampton. He just looks like that guy again, where he's in control of every situation, And that's what you really want from a centre half, bro. I think we are so blessed that we've got him. I think without him this season as well, him and Gomez, very important guys this season.
Yeah, I agree. That take. Big up to Hylor, as I said in the chat. He brought up this stat. He says, how important is it to play till the whistle blows? It was also Liverpool's 18th, 90th minute winner in the league since Klopp took charge, more than any other team since he took over. That's incredible. What a stat. It's one of those reasons why, and big up to Beijing Pops. I put this also in the chat too. I actually watched the game a second time, and I watched it with the Beijing Reds watch along in the background the second time, and I was watching obviously a little bit of the, I wouldn't say complete meltdown, but a little bit of the with Chris and Barnes.
Got a bit toasty, I'd say.
A little toasty.
Yeah,
I don't think I could handle it.
yeah. And then they brought in the one of the fellow football romantics and Beijing Pops, and to bring a little bit of calm and to soothe the waters at least. And it was very interesting. We saw some people give up, but with that stat alone, it should tell you that this team or Klopp's system can produce goals at any moment of the game. And especially with the high intensity and the energy that it presents in those games, you're going to see goals, Obviously, with 18 of them, as Hyler put, you're going to see them sometimes late.
But don't blame, I'm not going to blame anybody for having a bit of a meltdown after 95, 96 minutes. It's when it's at 65, I'm often in the shows with Pops, and me and him are basically every time I've seen on their watch along, we've been 0-0 at half an hour or something, and it's me and it's Pops and someone else going, just calm down, just chill, it's fine, it's always like this, it'll be good, and other people are getting head up. 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, okay, but I don't really blame people for starting to get a bit, let's just say on the edge of their seats by 96 minutes, 97 minutes, 98 minutes, it is, you're asking for kind of not miracles then, but to expect, but I do expect late goals. We're second half FC. That's what people, that's us this season. Shit in the first half, good in the second half. But even me there yesterday, I'm thinking we might have. I'm thinking about myself. Like, clearly, we are tired.
Yeah.
Mentally, as much as anything, we don't even have to be that tired physically. Mentally, to go cup final,
go again and again and again and again.
Yeah, but to go to that strong team, who aren't like, and I know it's not like you want it, but it's not a team that's like what you wanted yesterday was Burnley. A Burnley team that's so soft and passive and just play the ball around. They're going to play their nice football, even though bringing them down, and company should have been sacked about 7 months ago. That's a different story. But they're the team you want, not this big, rough, tough Forest side that have got, and then they're bringing on YNWA and they've got, muscle all over the pitch. That's just going to wear you down. And I think Nunes coming on, great. But I think we need as much rest between now and Prague, as many players to not get stressed against Prague, and we properly need some kind of break before City. We really do. We can't keep going hammer and tongs now because
the international break. But the international break, is going to be good, but it could be. It's going to be good.
Depends where our boys are going, doesn't it? Depends where our boys are going.
Exactly. That's what I'm scared about. I'm like, people are talking about, get this international break, and I'm like, yeah, but the majority of our players are going on that international break.
But it's what are they going to? Is this a friendly? Is this big? Is this actual games, or is this a friendly?
Euros are done. Euros are done.
Are they all going playing friendlies then?
Yeah.
No, because I thought the South Americans have actual games.
Yeah, South American and Europe might be different. South Americans are often playing competitive games, while Europeans are only playing friendly. So
if someone in the chat, I was going to say, someone in the chat. Sorry, I was going to ask if someone in the chat could help me and Brian and JK with that.
Definitely,
because I think that South Americans do. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Koeman's been at a few of our games recently, and I think he was looking at Gapco, Gravenberch, Virgil. I think hopefully he will rest Virgil in the friendlies if Holland have any,
If it is friendlies, Virgil should get a little bit of a pain in his hamstring and sit back at home in Liverpool.
Yeah,
that's all I'd say.
Let the guy from Tottenham, their defender, have a cap.
Yeah, I don't want any of that nonsense going on. We need to be a bit stronger about that. A bit more techie like they used to get back in the day. All of a sudden, like Alex Ferguson, the amount of time. Oh yeah, the amount of times like Roy Keane would all of a sudden get a bit of an injury just the week before an Ireland game, all the time, constantly. And Keane even said it in his books. Ferguson was constant. Like Ferguson was saying to him, basically, like Ferguson would walk into a room, Roy Keane, and go, "Oh well, right. So what are you doing during the interview? What are you doing next week? Oh, I'm going up playing for Ireland." Really? Are you sure you want to do that?
Kicks him in the shin.
That look, give him the look, and he's like, "Do you know what? That wouldn't be very good for us, right? If you did that, just putting constant pressure."
Right
now, I think that's back in the day a bit, but just maybe a little bit more of that, especially with Virgil. What more? They don't need to learn anything about Virgil. A young lad like Gravenberch, maybe you might need to, or Gakpo or something. They don't need to learn anything about Virgil. He's fit. He plays for Holland. End of story.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I do have a question for the chat as well. Please participate in this one because I'd like to hear your take on this. But the lead up to the goal, okay, and I'll read what it was. It says, When the full-time whistle blew, Paul Tierney was surrounded by the Nottingham Forest players and staff, which led to Stephen Reed being shown a red card. However, you can also see clear anger towards our captain, Virgil van Dijk, because it was thought that after the game was stopped for Ibu Konate's head injury, the Dutchman should have kicked the ball back. Instead, we attacked, won a corner, and scored a late goal that claimed all 3 points. And it was obvious that our number 4 is the man who was blamed for this string of events by those from Nottinghamshire. How do you guys feel about, in the chat too, please, elaborate what your feelings are about that? Because normally it is a somewhat of like a courtesy thing. It's not like you have to do that. You don't have to kick the ball back to the other team. It's just a courtesy thing. It's just, a courtesy thing. But they're complaining that when we got the ball, Virgil didn't kick it back to the other team. We proceeded to play it out. And let me just say this, this little caveat. Nottingham Forest had 2 opportunities to clear the ball. Okay? It wasn't like it was that free the kick from Virgil ended up leading to that goal directly. They had opportunities to stop it. So I'd like to know what your feelings are about that in the chat. And JK, if you want to start off, I'd like to hear your opinion as well.
Yeah, it was exactly a minute and 35 or 40 seconds after that incident that we got the goal. But for me, I think it should have been given back to them guys, the ball. If that happened to us, I think we'd be annoyed as well, because it's like common courtesy just to give the ball back. You understand my point? Yeah. So for me, I think we should have just gave the ball back, bro. They had the ball on the left wing, I remember, and then the guy blew up because Konate was sort of hurt, and I was just thinking, they're going to get the ball back there. So, but the time difference from that incident, from when we had the goal kick, we actually got a free kick, didn't we? Didn't we take the ball from where Konate supposedly got hurt? I'm sure we took the kick from there after that.
You know what? I'll be able to tell you in 3 minutes because I'm on the 95th minute of the game in the background here.
Okay, let me know, bro.
Yeah. When that comes up, I'll tell you what it is. Oh man! Shout out to the Mighty Red Army here. Like I can say this much: we did have I think it was Philly Liverpool FC called an own goal. We almost got an own goal in this game, which would have been that would have been a little bit easier of a thing to do, because that save, I just watched the save that went off the back of I think it was Gibbs White or it was someone in the box, and the goalkeeper made a great save right there. But go ahead, Brian. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, the thing, it's pretty clear cut. It was their ball. The refs have come out and said, it was that was wrong. It should have been basically, like we were saying, like the fans like to say that all we want is consistency. That's what I hear a lot from fans when they complain about VAR and refs. They say, we don't want all the decisions, we just want consistency. So this is what we're saying. They made a mistake for Spurs. They made a mistake for this. So we should be consistent in our responses to these things and blame them and say, look, they're making stupid mistakes. Don't ignore it when it favors Liverpool. It's saying, look, they don't understand the basic rules of the game, and use it to back up your argument against it. Don't ignore it. It's simple. It was their ball, right?
Okay.
It was their ball. They've explained why it was their ball, and it should have been their ball. And JK is exactly right. The next thing comes down to park football, 5-a-side football, playing football growing up as a kid, kids football, not your ball. You give it back. You give it back. So, it's not. You just give it back. When we realize the ref has made a mistake, you just pass them the ball. It doesn't happen very much these days. You used to see it a lot, where they just kick it back to the opposition, because that's just basic. But football is so hyper competitive now; it's always fine margin. So basically, that's my point.
I have a question though. Was it?
But like you said, if this was that incident, we get the ball, we pass the ball, Callister gets the ball, crosses the ball, scored a goal, right? Then I'm here going, I'm putting my hands up if that was us. We're saying we've been robbed. It was a basic refereeing error. But like you said, what did you say, 140? Like that's probably 3.5, 4 phases of play.
Exactly.
You know,
it's not a direct. That's what I was saying. It wasn't directly
like
associated to the
two things are separate. You know, like they were wrong, and we should. It's like when sometimes you get a throw or whatever, you throw it back to the opposition. It's just, but whatever. Look, that's just the way I grew up, and that's how it was when I was young. You just a mistake was made. You just kick it back. So 1 minute 40. There's way too much time to link it.
Right.
You know, it's just not really it's not gonna fly. But like I said, fans, you know, when you see refs make basic refereeing errors, call them out, even if they go against or go for our team. Because if you want to have all these things to say about refs, then say, look, there's another example of complete incompetence. They didn't even know the basic rule. You know, but then like JK, it's like that's like sometimes players take things into their own hands, just boot it down. Like remember the famous Arsene Wenger game where they were given a goal. Arsenal scored a goal that was, I think it was offside or it was a handball or whatever it was, and the players were there like, no to the ref, and the ref was not giving the goal. So Arsene Wenger told the guys, stand still from kickoff and let them go down and score a goal.
Yeah.
To even it up. You know, can you imagine seeing that in a game today? He just basically told the Arsenal players, don't, and I think one Arsenal guy ignored it, tried to stop the guy, but that might be a different way. But Arsene Wenger said, no, look, everyone stand still. That wasn't a correct goal for us. That was offside. Let them go down. And now that's an extreme example of giving the ball back to the opposition when it should be there, sort of thing. But then go back to Robbie Fowler. Do you remember Robbie Fowler when he was fouled for a penalty, turned around to the referee saying, no, I wasn't fouled. I wasn't fouled. You know, that kind of honesty is good to see, and that kind of sportsmanship. So one of our players should have just passed it back to them and just said, look, ref mucked it up. It's your ball here. Go. But boot it, you know, way down the pitch, like, you know, don't give it. Boot it back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, no. Okay, so this is so the play just happened. Okay, they replayed it 2-3 times in the game here. And you know what, too?
Bielsa, that was it. Bielsa. Thanks, right for that. Sorry, Bielsa did it as well.
Okay.
Rewinding on off.
Okay. No, you don't have to listen to my Google there. So if you watch the play, I was just going to ask. I get that the camera angle that they showed didn't necessarily show whether he dropped the ball, whether it was a drop ball or whether it was a free kick, because realistically, or not realistic, but if you watch the replay over, you'll see the Northampton. Northampton. You'll see the Forest player go in and actually kick. He like went in like karate style, trying to make contact with the corner, right? Or the cross, excuse me. And it looked like it could have been a foul. So I don't know if he called a foul or not, but he could have easily been a foul, to be honest with you.
But he didn't. And we you know, it should have been whatever the decision should have been a drop ball to them, and he gave to us. That's basically it. You know, we got to go.
I was going to say real quick though, but you're right about the fact that there were so many different plays, plays on the field that occurred after that. They had a clearance of the ball that went out. They had a clearance of the ball that went out on the left hand side. We had a corner kick from that play, and then it wasn't until like after the corner kick, broke down, and as you said, Matt could control the ball, was alert enough to see that he could have got the ball back into the box the way he did. It is. But usually, because a drop ball is usually there's still a player that can be, a player will still be in next to the ball, or next to the drop
No,
ball.
that's a contested drop ball. There's an so that'd be that'd be one, where back in he'd drop it between two players and they'd have to fight for it. This was a different one where it should have been basically just a drop, just basically a ball to them, but drop it uncontested. Yeah. But again, look, nobody cares. Yeah, nobody wants to go too. Well, I don't. Anyway, go into the ins and outs of it.
I just wanted to clear it up because you know why? You know why, Brian? Sorry. You know why?
No.
It's because I'm listening on these broadcasts. On today's broadcast, for instance, they brought up every time they mention the win, they say that the slightly controversial or the controversial win, and I'm like, what's controversial about it, really?
That's a last minute thing. Yeah, look, that sells headlines, or that sells papers. Called controversial. It's a 98-minute winner. It's and the Greek owner had a pop. He blew his top, and everyone got sent off, and there's a big smash afterwards. So yeah, they're going to sell the hell out of that, man. They're not doing their jobs if they don't sell the hell out of that.
Well, I mean, Tom says a great point here. He says, why is everyone overlooking the fact that Yates nearly took Ibu's head off in that challenge? And VAR should have possibly even sent him off because he did. He came in. I thought it was the Karate Kid. I literally thought it was. I was like, is Mr. Miyagi their coach? Because he just literally came in with the flying kick and hit Ibu, and that's why Ibu went down. And I know Ibu. I think most players are now somewhat even told, even if you don't get hit in the head, to just go for your head in a sense when you go down. But yeah, it's just something I wanted to see everyone's opinions on it. Let's see. Honesty says, and if not, and is not on the ref that Neone from Forest was a bozo. He didn't clear the ball, so it's on them. Apart from the ref moment, the rest is on Forest. Let's see. There was another one. Beijing Pop says, 12. All you need to tell us is if the ref signals for a foul. If so, then it's a free kick, and we don't have to give it back. However, if it wasn't, then it should have been given back. I'm just saying that unfortunately, there wasn't the greatest of angles to say whether yes or no. I'm going to rewind it to make sure. But it looked like Tierney saw that he went down, and I didn't know if he gave the foul. That's the interpretation I thought. I know that people are saying it's a drop ball, but I thought it was because possibly was more so that maybe he was calling the foul there. And that's
I'm not. It's not just no. I'm going to have to push. It's not like people are saying it. That's what the refs came out and said. It's not. People are saying it should have been. No, that's the referee has come out and said that's what should have happened. That's not. That's what. No, that it was a drop ball. It's not people are saying it should have been a drop ball. Oh. That's what the ref said. The ref said yes, it should have been a drop ball. I didn't pull that rule out of my ass.
Oh no, I get that.
That's what the referee's official, the Plattenberg guy that was on the thing came out afterwards. I know he's retired now or whatever, but
there's a reason
that's what he is. Technically, that's what it was. But I think we've spent enough time on this personally.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. Not trying to aggravate you, Brian.
No. It's just time moves fast. We've done a lot of time on this. Yeah.
How about well, let's think of something that was really, I thought, was actually as important as the goal from Darwin in this game, and that was not only the performance by this player, but the save in the 23rd minute against Ilanga that Kelleher made. What a save that was, by the way. I thought that was a one-on-one, and I mean one-on-one, and he had to make a great save. How are you feeling about, and I'll let Brian start this since it's his countryman. How are you feeling about Kelleher? And in the chat, please do chime in. I'll get your points in. But how are you feeling about Kelleher right now? How good is he? How proud are you?
That's great to see, he's a Cork man, so, I can't be that proud of him, they're, Cork and Waterford were neighbours, so they're kind of a rival county, as it were. But nah, look, I think he's put himself into a different like he was in a shop window before this, but I think he may have been sort of, just sort of on the high street a little bit in the shop window, whereas now I think he's in the shop window at Harrods and Harvey Nicks, on Oxford Street. He's put himself in the probably maybe not in the view, but there'll be bigger clubs that were looking for a goalkeeper that might be looking at him now that wouldn't have looked at him before. And I think if he keeps playing like this and he gets what looks like a lot of season, and shut up, he's going to get a sorry, he's going to get a big shout. It's time to move. He can't sit on the bench.
I see it.
He's too good to be sitting on the bench. Yeah, he's too good to be sitting on the bench for us, and I think that might happen. I think the time has come for him to play every week in the Premier League or play even abroad. Yeah, and look, if the guy is happy again, nearly 20, 25 now, I think. I just don't see it staying for another year. Don't say, this isn't me saying sell the guy. This is just me saying for 2 years now, they've been saying that he needs to go, or he wants to, take that step up and play. I'd love to keep him, but again, he'll go straight back to being the 2 cup keeper next season. But again, look, we've got a new manager, so who knows? But I just think for his career at this stage, he's good enough now to be starting every week in the Premier League. So if that's not for him, and again, it's not a thing about keeping him. Everyone wants to keep him. But if Caoimhín Kelleher walks into the office and says, I'd like to move on now for my career, not demanding a request, but I've had we've had this, we've had that, and I want to go and play first team football, then we should absolutely allow that to happen. If he's happy to stay at Liverpool, of course keep him if he's happy to stay. But if he knows he's behind Alisson, I think he'll just say, I'm not going to do another year of that. Because he's good enough to play for Aston Villa. He's good enough to play for Newcastle, Brighton, any of those clubs up around that. He's good enough to play for a huge majority of Champions League clubs across Europe. So I just think I'd like to see him go off and do well and be a number 1 keeper somewhere, but he's been amazing for us. And you never know what the future holds. He could be starting for us again next season, but I just don't know. But I've just had it in my head that he's going to leave to make the best out of his career and go and be a starter somewhere. But he's also made himself pretty expensive for anyone that wants to buy him.
So, JK, I know that the chat is definitely very pro. Red for Life is saying Kelleher is cold. Pops is saying Kel's his boss. Happy that he's continued to do his thing. I think this is now his 3rd straight. This is his 3rd straight clean sheet now. Steven is saying we should keep our second goalie. Tom is saying suck it up to to Brian. I won't repeat what goes on with that. Red for Life is saying he's an amazing keeper and can perform under pressure. His one-on-one saves are Ali-esque. I'm telling you, that save was a fantastic save yesterday. Fantastic of a save. Because as a goalkeeper, he just stayed his ground and waited for the player, the attacker, to make the first move that he could react to. And that's very difficult because often you're already, behind technically. But if you have quick enough reactions, even though you're behind, at least you know which way to react. It's not like you're guessing, which is great. Steven's asking to keep him. TW74 says, I hope we keep hold of him. Try and give him more game time while resting Ali. Tom says, I know it is a wild shout. Here we go. But would selling Ali be a conversation and promote Kelleher? Don't do it, Tom. Don't do it, Tom. How much?
You were doing so
Tom,
well, Tom.
how much is the chat? If let's hypothetically say that, not say Ali, redo what Tom just suggested, but let's just say hypothetically that Kelleher does say, yes, I do want first team minutes. I think it's time for me to depart the team. He continues the epic run that he's having so far for us right now, and his value is probably, if and when he does make that decision. What would be the price that you would ask for Kelleher? What would be the price that you would want in return for Kelleher? Please in the chat, tell me how much are you expecting to get back for Kelleher? 30 million, 15 million, 45 million? I'm just throwing out numbers. I'm not saying any of these are relevant. Just tell us what you would think. And you can tell us in pounds as well. We don't have to all convert.
But I reckon Brian knocked the nail on the head the other day, or was it you? I think one of you guys said it, where is Kelleher happy? He's a big part of the season. So if we win the league and he gets his medal, he's earned it, if you understand my point.
Mm-hmm.
And will he be happy with that? I think with a club of our stature, the amount of games we play, we need two top goalkeepers. And I only had one point against Kelleher. It was letting goals in that were close to him. And in the last 3 games, he just stepped up to a level where we needed him to be. Amazing in the final. Yesterday, he did really well as well. So we're getting clean sheets as well with him. So he's in the mindset now of he's number 1 for Liverpool, because he knows Alisson's out for a while. So people step up the game then sometimes. When the whole situation, like Gakpo, some people moan about him because his situation is very different to, say, Salah's. If you understand.
How much are you looking for? How much? What's the number? What's the number? You're the sporting director. What's the number that you say can't pass that up?
50 million.
I'm putting up the numbers too for the chat. TW says 35 million. Paul Turner says 40 million. I mean, these are much higher evaluations as well than originally too. I think in January the club were looking for 20 to 30 million. With these performances, now that price has surely gone up ahead of any summer move, Ian says.
Can't say no starts with a 4. I think the 25 to 30 was high for him in January. It wouldn't have been for me, but it's just because it's a number 2 goalkeeper. And if you want to sell him, you have to be careful not to price him out of a move to the kind of club that can afford him and want him. But if he plays, let's just say, a big part in anything else that we do for the next 6, 7, 8 games, then his price will definitely go up by 10 to 15 million from that 25. That's where I'd put him at if I'm a sporting director. But again, it's like, this is about being in a player's head, and nobody is in a player's head. So if we could just send him an email and say, are you happy at Liverpool, or do you want to leave? Yes or no. Not I want to leave as in I want to get out, I hate the club. That's yes or no answer. Are you staying, or do you want to go and get that next move for your career? If he says I want to stay, if he says I want to go, then I think he should cost what Ramsdale cost. He's in that price bracket. If a club wanted him, I'm not entirely sure how he's fixed contract wise.
What would you?
But no, I just think that if a club that wants him, it should be a minimum of 30, 32 and a half, 35, somewhere around that to get him. Especially like if he does well for us for the rest of the season. But that's a difficult market, is for a club to spend that amount of money on just the goalkeeper. So it's hard. If he wants to leave, it's not going to be an easy transfer to facilitate. It's not like there's going to be 10 clubs.
Still close to 24 million right now.
It's not like there's going to be 10
Stevenson,
clubs who are looking to pay you the money you want. You know, it's going to have to, you're going to have to find the right club has the, you know, I think a club will have to sell a keeper. But he's better than Nick Pope. He's better than Nick Pope. He's better than Dubravka. He's better than Karius. You know, that's all I'm saying.
How about this, Brian? How about this? This is from Pops. Pop says Kells might be pricing himself out of a move, so he would be happy to see him out on loan.
Oh, on loan? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think Jared is saying they're 60 million plus his homegrown. I know, but Jared, I know what you're saying, man. But you try to get 60 million for Kelleher. Good luck if you can do it, man.
Well, there's a couple. There's a couple of saying realism.
But name a club out there that has 60 million to spend.
Even saying 60 million, that's a lot for that's a lot.
But listen,
we were just people were going 30. You're saying 4. I'm sorry, you're just saying it begins with 4, and you know, and we were already just moving, and LFC was ready to if you brought 25 to 30, you know, or somewhere in that range, we would have possibly considered it. But to go well over double that number. That's
no, he's no, not 60. That's not happening.
I think 50 is around good number. If we win the league this season, and he's going to carry on playing anyway, maybe I can't really see a British team. Maybe if he goes abroad, we could get a good figure. But like, where would he go? That's the question, you know. Where can he go?
Yeah.
Which big team can he go to? He's more maybe like a Brentford. I don't know. I wouldn't say Crystal Palace type of team. Is he a top goalkeeper for the top 6 teams? He's doing it for us now, and I'm happy if he stays with us. That's my honest opinion. If he's our number 2 for next season as well, he plays the League Cup every season. He even plays the final. So, and the amount of game time he's getting now, maybe that persuade him to say, you know what, I just want to stay here. I think it would be better for his career. That's my opinion on that one. If he goes somewhere else, relegation teams, or he's going to be letting 2-3 goals in every game, it's going to be not good on his confidence. Playing at Liverpool, he knows he's got a solid defence in front of him, Virgil van Dijk. So, for me, for his career, he should stay at Liverpool.
Yeah. Well, let me bring in an absolute Liverpool legend to the panel here. We're bringing in Mr. Frank Carlisle. How are you doing, fine, sir?
Legends indeed. Yeah, I'm good. And, I was invited along by JK there. Great to see you.
Oh, no, the invitation's open always, brethren.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
I was just. I'm sorry there. I was just going into your conversation, and I think it was about Keller.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, he should stay. I agree with JK immensely, simply because he could go to another place. Remember, it's the old adage, isn't it? The grass is not always cleaner or greener on the other side. And we've seen that with numerous of players who have actually left Liverpool. And as JK said about, you know, playing in there, mostly cup games, and we have Alisson, you know, and I don't like saying this. I do not like saying this. He's become injury prone. I don't think he's ever had a full season with Liverpool without him being injured, going out, you know, whether it's illness, whether he's muscle injuries, whether I just don't know. He's never had a full season. He's not like any other goalkeepers who I've seen in the past, and even now, that go a full season without getting injured. But anyway, and he's, you know, don't get me wrong about Ali. He's the greatest, in my opinion, goalkeeper in the world. But I think Quaheen, I hope I've pronounced his name right, stays with us.
Brian is quick to say the linguistic correction.
No, it's Cuivine. Cuivine, Frank. Cuivine.
Oh, okay. Who's this?
Cuivine.
Well, Frank, how about this though? If he was to go, how much would you expect in return for him if he was to go? If he was to say, you know what, I just want to try my own another team. How much would you look to get back in return?
I'd ask now the way he is. I think he's excellent myself. I'd just put a 40 million on a tag on between 35 and 40, and I think they'll get
40s.
Yeah.
Excellent. It looks like it's amazing because I mean, like as was mentioned earlier, 20 million was 20 to 25 million. We'd got an offer actually, I believe was it from Forest? Someone had given us an offer for his services, but it was only 15 million that they had offered, and we turned it down originally.
Yeah.
So it's incredible to hear that now these numbers that we're throwing out as being acceptable, at least to us, is in the 40s now. You know, for some in the 50s, you know, or 60s. I think it was the number that someone threw out earlier. But I mean, it is pretty incredible.
Well,
he's been a real lightning rod for our team.
Yeah, but I think 35 is minimum, to be honest. And he's a better goalkeeper than most of the goalkeepers in the Prem now. He really is.
Mm-hmm.
He's that good. And they will get the, between 35 and 40. I think they would get 40 for him quite easily. But I don't want Adrian as the second goalkeeper next season. I just don't want him, to be honest.
Sure. A quick fire answer. Just one name or the other. Quick fire answer. I'll go JK, Brian, and then Frank. In the chat, please give me your answers as well. Better number two, at least, but better goalkeeper, let's say. Kelleher or Ramsdale? Quick fire answer. JK, what's your answer?
Kelleher.
Okay. Brian?
Ramsdale. There's a reason why they bought Raya or loaned Raya. Sorry, not Ramsdale. Carroll. Sorry.
I was going to say, learn to press this. You might not be able to go outside in Ireland, man.
Yeah. No. Sorry, yes. Brain fart. Yeah, but there's a reason they brought in Raya. That's what I'm saying. Ramsdale can't play with his feet. Kelleher can.
Yeah. How about you, Frank? Kelleher or Ramsdale?
I'd go Kelleher because he's proved it now. He's actually proved it, especially with these remarkable LAS saves that he's been doing recently. And he did win us. He won us the other day, he won us yesterday, that game against Forest. He did win that game with some of the remarkable saves. He did win us the Caribou Cup with that, but a few remarkable saves as well. So, yes, Kelleher.
I'm going to also ask, and I'm going to go again in the same order, JK, Brian, and Frank. And I'm going to talk about a player that has been somewhat bringing up a little bit of controversy. And I'm also going to talk about two players that have actually brought up a little bit of controversy on our team as to how well we rate them. And the first I'm going to ask is on Cody Hackbo. Now, I know Cody has been has his ups and downs. He's definitely polarizing. If I would even saying some more of more negative than positive references going on for Cody's play as of late. JK, what do you think is the biggest problem Cody's got to figure out to get back to the levels that we are expecting from him? Is there anything that you've seen from his game that you're like, oh, that's what he's missing, or that's what he had, and that's what he needs to get back? Please, in the chat, include your answers as well.
It's like this, bro. Sometimes, see, when you are like a fifth choice attacker in a 5-man attack, the hunger there to get to number one, that I'm a regular, it's very big.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes when you get there, the vibe is different. The mindset's different. Like, okay, I'm here now. He's had 3 games where he could have really. We've won all 3 games, so for me, there's no need to moan. But I just feel sometimes overthinking. I think him and Gravenberch overthink the game too much sometimes. Gravenberch kept on falling over. Me and Frank used to laugh about it. Overthinking in football and in life in general is not a good thing. And I think Gapco might be doing that right now. He couldn't get into the game again yesterday, really. He had one little run, and we've seen that run against who was it? Was it against Southampton? He did that run from the halfway line. He just like tore like 2-3 man took him on. So he's got that in him. So I'm going to support him anyway, because I think someone said yesterday in the comments that he's going to pop up with a goal in a game, but where we need him. So no problems with Gapco.
Okay. Brian, what? Again, I'll repeat the question. What is it that Cody needs to find, refine, or just develop? What is it that you think is missing that's not clicking for him right now? Or do you think his game is okay and that he just? Yes, to you, Brian. Yes.
Oh, that's to me. Okay, sorry. I went silent there for a second. I think he's a very good player who's in a bad patch of form, basically. And it's shown all over the place. And I've said from day one that any player that's too versatile doesn't really eventually nail down a position after a while. Like JK is saying, they always just become the next guy. They're never the number one guy in anyone's spot. And that's all that's missing for him, is to be a starting player in the 11 that comes on every week. And unless, we need some versatility somewhere, it's like he has his spot and he knows what his spot is and he knows what his game is and he knows what's expected of him. But people said he looks a bit lost. They say definitely looks a bit lost, moving left and right. He's in the middle one game, he's on the left the next. That's not good for any player unless you're a world-class player that's playing in every game and it's just part of the way they play. But that's all that's missing for him, is the fact that he's never really found a home in our attack. He's just been left sort of on the bench. He's even played in midfield sometimes, because you look at, is he on the left? Well, that's Diaz. Is he in the middle? Oh, well, that's Nunez. Is he on the right? Well, that's Salah. So how does he get in? How does he make that spot his own? That's what it comes down to. So I can't see it happening for him until, as long as he keeps being this semi-bit part player, it's always going to be hard for him to really show his best. There isn't any time. They need confidence to show their best. So hopefully he gets that somewhere and somehow. I don't know if it's at another club in 18 months' time, then so be it. But nothing wrong with him as a player. Great footballer. But look, I don't know. I'm not a crystal ball guy. I don't know. A new manager could come in and love him and revitalize him, and off we go.
Okay. Frank, same question. What is it? Yeah. What is it that he's missing for you, at least?
Okay. You know that I went to match the other night to the Southampton game, and I watched them deliberately. I watched them right throughout the game, where the television cameras don't follow. So I was watching them, and my point was, he was lost. He was actually lost, and I felt so sorry for him. And as JK mentioned, throughout that match and throughout the last few games, by the way, he's made one good run. And that was near the end of the Southampton game where, he fantastic run right through the middle, and he hit it, but it was way over. It was way over. And that's one of the reasons that the confidence isn't there with him. The confidence has gone. I seen him coming off the pitch, and I was looking at him coming off the pitch, and he felt good. It's hard to explain, but I just don't know. I just don't know whether it's lack of confidence or he's at a certain level. But one thing's for sure, he knows, because there's nobody else around forward line, they're all injured. He knows he's going to be picked. He knows he's going to be playing. But again, what you've got to look at, this was his greatest opportunity to put his marker down. And to me, didn't do it. He didn't do it. Now, I'll ask a question. If all our lads were fit, from Jota to Mo to Nunes to all our little forwards, Diaz, everybody, where would he be in the pecking order to start out of all them? Where would he be? That's what you've got to look at. That's what you have to look at. And let me tell you now, there are better players out there than Gakpo. That's the only, I'll give you that right now. You know, people can say, oh, well, there's something there, you know. And the lads have scored 11 goals, I think, in all competitions. He has scored, but I don't know. I just look at it like that, you know. He's way down in the pecking order. And I know that there are better players who'd come to Liverpool to take over his place. It's as simple as that. Whether you agree with me or not, I don't know.
Okay. That's yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. There's a lot of comments that I've seen. There's a lot. Let me just read off these comments real quick, so I can include the chat's contribution to the conversation. I believe it's Norman, right? This is Norman, right?
Yeah.
Anne is he's using yeah. Just making sure. Yeah. Gakpo is very gifted, but is lacking confidence and is a bit lazy at times when something does not go for him. Norman says, and then Tom said, Cody just needs to keep it simple till he finds form, protect the ball, pass it on. Very similar to what I guess we see from Endo. TW74 says the next manager will want to take a look at him in preseason. This is a good point by Red for Life in his defense. He says Hackers got us through the Caribou Cup, which he did. He scored in every round of the Caribou Cup except for the final. He had a couple bad games. We'll be back to scoring soon. What's that?
Not calling him that.
What you say, Brian?
Sorry. I'm not calling him that. I'm passing
Hackers,
on Gackers.
no.
I can't. No.
Hackers?
No, I'm bored with that, Red for Life. No, pass on that.
Okay, all right, okay. I don't know if I just caused myself. This is Frank Carlisle's channel, by the way. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. I'll keep that in the chat, and I'll replay that as well. And then this comment by Bayesian Pop says Hackpo is lost in his own head, and unfortunately for him, his ability to fit in has worked against him. However, Klopp seems to have the faith/trust in him to come good. He can still be a hero in UEFA. Yeah, that could be so. Even FA Cup, who knows? And then Norman says best way to describe what he should do. Nunez misses chances and still retains that hunger to try again. Hackpo shrugs his shoulder, and allows it to affect the rest of his game. And I think I can agree with Norman under that. Sometimes he goes searching rather than finding. You know what I mean? He doesn't. Sometimes you can let the game come to you rather than you search for the game. In essence,
exactly, bro.
And get in essence get lost. Realistic, you know.
Yeah.
So
that's
I can agree with that. Another thing is, good analogy, I guess. I was going to just bring up this. I was going to say that for those that do hold faith as an important concept in your lives, he is a very devout, faithful Christian, and he's very devout in his faith. So I'm sure that he is putting it into God's hands and believing that he'll find, similar to the way that Bobby relates his passion and his love for his faith, that he utilizes that as his beacon he can call to kind of get his center moment, his moment of serenity to help find him and get him through these dark places. So hopefully he does find that reality to bring us. So I wanted to bring up. I said I had 2 players. The second player I did have to ask. What's that?
Now, I was just going to quickly say about Gakpo is Gakpo very important figure in the squad. He's very important in the squad. His smiles, his personality and stuff, and he's got 10 plus goals. He's not first choice. He's a Dutch international and he's 5th choice, and he still smiles. I don't know what people want. We will never get a player, an international, who will be so happy to be 5th choice and still try to get into the game. As I think you've knocked the nail on the head as well, 12, where you said he tries to search for the game. He don't let it come to him. He's always trying to search for it. Where is it? Where is it? And I think sometimes with the players we've got, sometimes you don't need to do that. Yeah.
I'm gonna say, honest. I'll get one more point, and then I'm gonna bring up the other player. And I know Brian has to go very shortly here, so I'll make sure I get into it so Brian can at least get a comment in before he has to depart. Honesty says it's all in his head and his own, and is his own worst enemy at the moment. Since Klopp knew he is versatile, Klopp plays him everywhere, which is true. He plays left mid, left wing, right wing, striker. I mean, he's played 5 different positions for this club. Klopp plays him everywhere, and he is playing like a player that don't want to be dropped again. And I'll get Paul's comment in here real quick too. Don't give up on Hackball. He can turn it around like Darwin and Curtis Jones have. I agree with you, Paul. I think that, you know what, let's just give the guy a chance to see where he can go with it. I mean, like, you know, you sometimes you'll find those silver linings, or those, you know, you'll find those jewels in the most craziest places. You'll find, you know, these moments that we all can have, and hopefully Cody can find his. But the other player I'm going to bring up is Lucho. To me, I believe I've seen that a lot of people, when it comes to Diaz, have not really completely appreciated his contribution to the team. And Brian had to go, so I'll try to give him him a question. He has delay. Okay, no worries. Okay, sorry. Okay, cool. Brian, I'm going to ask you this last question because I know that you have to go. But my question was, how do you feel about Lucho's play, despite him not getting, the plethora of assists? He doesn't have an incredible tally of goals, but he is now the 5th member of this front 5 to have 10 plus goals and 10 plus assists in the campaign. How do you feel about Lucho's performances as of late, especially now that he's become the focal point of our strike force, with Mo, with Darwin, with Diego not a part of it? How do you feel about his performances? And do you have an issue with it, or do you commend it, basically?
Well, Diaz has,
and that's to you, Brian. And I know you have to go, so you can give your answer, and then you can say.
Yeah. Diaz has always frustrated me as a player because he can do better. He can, be more creative. He can be more productive. Without a doubt, he's just someone that I look at. It's not kind of a criticism of him. It's just I see a player that can do more. To me, he started to chip in now, and it is kind of those by the week kind of things that he gets to a 10 goal and 10 assists. But for me, he's always a player. He probably will always frustrate me. I just see a player who chops back inside a lot, doesn't take his man on as much. I don't know. I like Diaz, but maybe I'm just a bit spoiled or a bit old, and I've just seen other players that I just think are better. And I think Liverpool is a club who, without getting personal, you can always say, can we always improve? Can we improve? Can we improve? And to me, Diaz is someone who's a very good player, but is he the best I've ever seen? Is he the best we could have. I don't know. He's good. He's fine. You know, Diaz for me has always been a kind of 7 out of 10. He's chipping in now more. I always said from the start, maybe a bit more end product, and it'll be good. But like I say, he's 27 now. I think this is him. I think he's just a slightly above average player who works his socks off. You know, never lets you down. Does all that really good Klopp stuff, but at the end of the pitch, isn't as sort of lethal or devastating as some other players. I really don't know. It's not about his. I don't like getting into kind of discussions about him too much because it becomes a bit polarizing. But I think he's very good, you know. But for me, he frustrates me, leaves me maybe a little bit cold, and for me, he doesn't really excite me as a player. He's not someone like I'd pay. He's not someone I excuse me, I pay to watch kind of thing. Not that that's his job, is to entertain me or anything, but I don't know how to feel about Diaz because he keeps showing you every now and again what he can do. But look, the thing will always come back to, but he does his job and he works really hard. Like I always say, if you don't work hard, like you get sacked from any job. If I go to work tomorrow, Frank went to work. If you went to work and you don't work hard, you get sacked eventually. It's just a basic kind of tenet of what you do, especially when you're getting paid 200 grand a week. As I said before, money doesn't make you happy. Doesn't make you good at football, but you should make you work hard at least. If you're getting paid 200 grand a week, you should run around, and he does that really well. So, I honestly I don't know. I know people love him. I know people hate him. I don't do either of those things when it comes to footballers. I don't love or hate. But I'm smack bang in the middle. You know, I don't know what everyone else thinks, but it's just he's a bit of a cucumber sandwich for me. You know, he's just a bit boring. Is that okay to say I find him a bit boring?
Hey, it's your opinion. I mean, everyone's welcome to their.
I'm always looking for a new angle. I think I'm definitely the first person on YouTube to say he's boring. I'll go with that one.
No,
never heard that one.
I would also say you're probably the first person to see pickle sandwich. So
cucumber.
Cucumber.
Oh, cucumber sandwich. Is that what you said? Cucumber sandwich?
Cucumber.
Okay. My fault. I picked the wrong green vegetable.
Easily done, but just be careful where you put it.
Yeah. I know. We'll definitely sidestep that. Frank, what is your opinion on Lucho? Do you have you can say, you know, do you think that he's done well or that he's doing well, or do you think that he's just not your cup of tea, as you would say, I guess, in England?
My cup of tea. No, he is my cup of tea because I've been watching him. And I've been watching him ever since he came to Liverpool. I've been at the grounds. I've been watching him throughout the game. Yesterday, he was so unlucky, you know. And I disagree with Brian there. He does beat a man. He does take people on. He does take them on. So I disagree with you there, Brian. I'm sorry.
No, I just mean I think he should do it more, Frank. That's what I mean. He can do it. I just think he did it more at the start. He seems to have reined it in.
Well, okay, you know, well, that's your opinion. He does take them on. He plays very well yesterday. Don't forget, you know, we've had players out. Gapco's not doing it, as you know. Gapco ain't doing it. And it's only up to Lucho. You know, when Nunes wasn't playing, it was only up to him to carry the forward line. It was up to him to carry the forward line. And he did carry it. And he carried it very well. He terrorised defences. I wouldn't like to see him. If I was in a defence, I wouldn't like to see him coming at me because he's quick. He can take people on and he can cross a ball. He can pass a ball. And, you know, so I just like Luco. I really do.
Just say
if there's anyone
there you go.
out of the ball, if there's anyone, you know, don't forget, you know, when we pick players, when we pick whether they're all fit or not, Luco is in the side. Is in the side because you have Luco, you have Salah, you have Jota. You have Luco, you have Salah, you have Nunes. And they're the four that get picked all the time. So, you know, Klopp is doing something. We're top of the league. We're still in the Euro. We're still we've just won the Carabao Cup. We're still in the FA Cup. So he must be doing something right. And he does score now and again as well.
Okay. JK, do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, just a quick one with Diaz. A few months ago, say 6 months ago, I had two players who I wasn't really happy with. One was him and one was Curtis Jones. And I've seen Curtis over the months, the way he used to situate himself as like a sweeper position in games where we had to hold the lead and stuff. And I was like, okay, I've seen that. And with Diaz, what I realised with him is what he did for us in the last 3 games, for example, is carry an attack. And he kept their defense on their back foot while carrying the ball. That's been his job in the last few games. I think sometimes people don't think football is like a game of chess, and the way Diaz has just kept on running all the time is gave our team time to reset in a game, and that's what you do when Diaz gets the ball. The defense gets sorted out, the midfield gets sorted out because Diaz gives you that time. So sometimes I think fans don't really understand the bigger picture of a footballer. Yeah, we all want Diaz to score screamers from the outside of the box and stuff, but you got to also understand that he's a right-footed guy playing on the left. So he's not going to really get that many assists. Yeah, he can get more goals by cutting in, but assist-wise, he would look better on the right. And he's did it against Arsenal. He scored a good goal against them. But I think Diaz, another guy, he's always getting picked, as Frank said. Him and Salah are definite 2 starters there, and whoever else then. So, look, we're top of the league, and I think at this moment, Gakpo and Diaz have carried our attack. They've not got the goals and stuff, but they've been there. I think we, as fans, would have been crying if we knew that Dan's was going to be starting, Elliot, and maybe what's his name? The other lad, the one who scored last week.
Kumas?
Yeah, Kumas. Imagine we knew that Kumas, Dan's, and Elliot were going to be our 3 starters in the final last week against Chelsea, for example. Us fans would have been crying. So, Gakpo and Diaz, okay, they're not being top of their games, but they've been there. So that's football. That's football.
Yeah, just quickly before I go, like I do want to make it clear, like that. I was asked, when I ask a question, it's sort of like I say he can't beat a man. I know he can beat a man. He does beat a man. But I see him a lot turn inside. I'm not saying he's never done this. I'm trying to kind of maybe go too much into detail about why I don't like him, but I'm just highlighting the little reasons why I don't think he's 10 out of 10. I said I think he's a 7 out of 10 player. And he does brilliantly for us, works really hard. But like I said, like Frank said, football is really just a game of opinions. And some players they just won't do it for you. You can recognize it, but Brian, you like another guy.
Like pickle sandwich to you. He really is, because if you have one pickle sandwich, you love it. But if you have another one, it could make you sick. And that's you. Yeah, have you heard of Marmite, by the way, Brian?
Oh yeah, I know what it is. Yeah.
Well, it's. I know Diaz he's a Marmite sandwich, and you're caught in the middle, unfortunately.
Well, like they say, Frank, it's better to be someone's shot of whiskey than everyone's cup of tea. So he's not my shot of whiskey. I'm going to head over to Thingy there. I'm going to go over to Rod's. So I wish everyone good night.
Good night, bro.
Stay safe. Stay well.
Thank you for joining.
Peace, bro.
See you on
No worries, man.
See you on Tuesday.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, okay. I definitely wanted to hear everyone's opinions. I think I included pretty much everyone's. I'll put in these last couple of thoughts here. Paul Tarn says players hit patches, good and bad. At the end of the day, the team is top of the league. We aren't struggling apart from injuries. We have lost only 3 games all season. Spot on. Ian says, yep, getting us up the pitch and that outlet wide, especially in the final last week. he ran his heart out for 120 minutes. That's saying
Exactly.
speaking on Lucho. He did exactly that. And Norman says, if we win the league, we will earn it without cheating or favors from other teams. We in Arsenal are up against corruption. Liverpool always suffers at hands of the establishment. Okay. I thought that was about Lucho, but it was definitely about something that, the controversy of it all. I'm going to ask Frank.
Excellent comment.
Yeah, it was an excellent comment, for sure. I was asked Frank, hopefully, Frank, you'll be willing. I was going to say, Frank, hopefully you'll be willing to stay with us. We're going to do our ratings of the players, your own personal ratings.
Yeah.
And all we ask, we're not going to go like too in depth with the players, I guess, and as to why you thought such. We just ask for like an actual rating. It's pretty cut and dry. You can use a number, or you could use the actual word, so it makes it that much easier to make the understanding of how you rated him. So I'm going to include that right now. I'm going to bring that up, and to the chat, we're all looking for you to do the same. Oh, and there is a question. While I do this, I'll bring up this question as well. Tom has a question for the panel. Whoops, let me bring it up here. He says, question: if Lucho is not that good as everyone is saying, if you could replace him with a winger, and a realistic one, not like Vinicius Jr. or Mbappe, like a realistic replacement, someone that's probably what you would get in return for his price going out, who would it be? I'll ask that to the chat. Please, in the chat, answer. Give that answer for the chat, and I'll ask Frank. Do you have a name that comes to mind?
If we got rid of Lucio, you mean?
Yeah.
Is that
Yep.
the comment? Yeah.
Who would you like to see as a replacement?
I haven't criticised. I know that the lad, who's just said, people are criticising him. I haven't criticised him. I've never criticised him. I'll tell you though, if he had to go, the only fella I'd replace him with, and this fella's the right winger, but the way Klopp is playing him on the left, I'd get this player in and play him on the left. And I can't pronounce his name, but you'll know who I mean. Especially
I think they're going to go.
And it's that fella from Napoli.
Napoli. Yeah. I call him KK. Those are his initials. KK.
Double K.
Double K. You really call that. Yeah. Okay. That's an excellent shout. He's an excellent player. I don't know if he bring. Yeah. I don't know if he. I think Lucho. I don't know about his defense, but his offense, KK's offense for Napoli is excellent. Rapid on the winger as a winger, and has some really incredible skill sets. Didn't do well for me on my team in the Anfield Cup, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, JK, how about for yourself? Is there a name out there that you would see as being someone that if Lucho hypothetically says, I want to go to Barcelona, let's say, who would you bring in as his replacement?
I like one guy. He's from AC Milan, Leao. Top player. I don't know about his defensive work as such, but him under a top coach, the sky's the limit. I think he's such a good player. I think with him, he could be a regular starter for Portugal in the Euros. I don't know. It could be an attitude thing. I'm not really sure. But when I've ever watched him play for AC Milan, the guy's got skills. He's got speed. He can score. And for me, him under a good coach at Liverpool, the sky's the limit. Him on one side and Neto as well. I like Neto from Wolves. So them two guys are the ones I would like to have at Liverpool.
This is an interesting point, and then we're going to bring up the ratings. Realism Jared says Diaz played most of his games for Porto at left mid, not left wing. He had more of a free role to drift into that position. That's very interesting. I mean, we really haven't seen him. We've seen Lucho as a left back. We've seen him as a left wing. We've never seen him as a left mid for this team. It'd be interesting. Beijing Pop says that he would like to see Alphonso Davies. That's a great shout. Alphonso Davies would be a great shout That'd be a great shout, because then you'd have versatility of using Davies in multiple positions, whether it's left mid, left wing, or even left back as well. That's a great shout. Yeah. I see honesty. Okay, so let's bring up this. Let's bring up the ratings. We're gonna just go through these ratings. The ratings. Now, this is Frank's first time participating with us on the rating show here. What we do is top tier or not. If you give him a 9, that means he's a candidate for man of the match. That's most likely a candidate for man of the match. Doesn't necessarily mean it's your sole candidate, but it could be a candidate for man of the match. 8 is above average. 7 is average. 6 is below average. And anything below 5 or 1, whatever, that's a failing grade. I always say, does it really matter if you're a 2 or a 3? It's still failing. You still pretty much were not doing well. So, how did you feel about Kelleher? What was your ratings for Kelleher? And I include the chat in this as well. Please do put your entries in for these players. For Kelleher, what was your rating for Kelleher?
When was this? Is this yesterday or since he's been in the side?
No, this is just for yesterday's game. Or, yeah, just for yesterday's game.
I'd put 8.5.
8.5? Okay. JK?
Clean sheet, 9. No.
9? Okay. Gramps in the chat gives him a 9. Bayesian Pops gives him a 9.5. Norman gave him an 8. Okay. I would have given him a 9. I thought that save, I'm telling you, that save in the 23rd minute of the game on the one-on-one, that kept us in the game. That really could have been a knife in the back to us if they had scored that goal. And that was just a really, really incredible save. TW74 gives him a 9. I think
he would have been offside though. I think.
Oh, well, I didn't know if he was or wasn't offsides. Okay.
I think he got, yeah.
But still, all the same is that he made the save. I hope it wasn't considered an offside, because that was a great save.
I think a 9. Yeah.
How about for Connor? What was your ratings for Connor? What would you, Frank? What would you have given Connor?
I'd give Connor, albeit
Connor Bradley. What was your rating for him yesterday?
Just an 8.
Mm-hmm.
An 8? Okay. How about for you, JK?
Clean sheet, 8. Yep.
You're gonna give him an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Norman gave him a 7. Pops a 7. TW74 gave him a 7. I thought that Bradley played well. I think what we're missing, and okay, KJ give him a 9 to kind of boost the scores here. But what I was going to say about Connor was that I just thought Connor is. I think people want to have Connor be our everyday starting right back, which I don't have a problem with per se. But I also know that the rigors of playing in the Premier League are different in that the intensity, the amount of energy that you expel, I think we're seeing a little bit of just little glimpses of the fact of, okay, maybe we can't get these full 90s out of him that we need. And because so, we're having to utilize a sub for him now to try to get the output in some of these games. So, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not good, he's not playing well. I'm not saying that any of those things. I'm just saying that I want to properly manage his minutes so that we can, hold on to this talent and utilize him the best that we can. I probably would have given him a 7. Didn't do anything spectacular for me yesterday, but had a decent game. I have to go with, it looks like despite the 7s kind of brought down his average. So I'll put him in the average position. How about for Virgil van Dijk? Yesterday? Frank?
Yeah. Virgil. Virgil, I'm going to give. It's a hard one on Virgil. I'm going to give him a solid 9.
Good for you.
Mhm.
Good for you. Well done. How about for you, JK?
Rolls Royce 9, clean sheet.
Yeah,
What a guy, man! What a guy.
yeah. Threat offensively these days. I thought he was going to get that goal too. If Cody hadn't gotten his way, oh,
Mm-hmm.
he was calling him off too. He was
Yeah.
like, "I got it, Cody. I got it," and he still took it. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I agree." Our captain definitely deserves a 9. I'll put him behind. If you'll notice, I put top of the class to the left, and then I tear it down, just so you know. So if you see him to the right, to the left, that means that he was at the top of the class, by the way.
Top of the class.
Norman, and the reason why I'm putting him in a solid 9 is because a lot of people in the chat agree with us. Norman had him at a 9. TW74 had him at a 9. KJ had him at a 9. Gramps had him at an 8.5. Honesty, surprisingly so, had him at a 7.5. I mean, honestly, if you want, you can always include the reasoning behind that if you like. And Pops had him at he says, VVD, my captain, 9.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it a lot. How about for VVD's partner, Ibu? How do we feel about Ibu's performance yesterday? Who possibly could have had a better performance than even Virgil yesterday, defensively wise. How are you feeling about that, Frank?
Are you still talking about Virgil?
No, this is about Ibu. Kanate.
Oh,
Ibu Kanate.
Oh,
He's not on first name terms, bro.
Yeah. Kanate, Ibu. Yes, he's a great partner. Him and Virgil, the solid players, absolutely brilliant. Now, what you've got to think of as well is the way Kanate uses his speed, and he's very quick. He proved that against Chelsea when that lad was away. And he went right into the area and he tackled without taking them down. Could have easily have been a penalty near the end. And, he just spoiled him. When Palmer, this was over the bar, he passed it out to Palmer. The thing is, not Palmer, Gallagher, I'm sorry. And going back to yesterday, a solid 8.5.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
JK?
Yeah, Kanate,
what was your rating?
He's secretly stepped up in the last few weeks. I've noticed his gameplay. He's just, wow. This is the best I've seen him in a Liverpool shirt in the last few games, in the last few weeks. And so I'm going to give him a 9 for yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So 8.5, right? And a 9. There's some really high rankings for Kanate. KJ gave Kanate a 9. He says Ibu was just as good as Virgil yesterday. Norman gave Ibu a 8.5. TW74 gave him a 9. Gramps gave him a 9.2. Okay. That's really, really. I guess we're gonna have to put him up in that top tier. I mean, there's a lot of 9s in there. I like the people that are recognizing. Ibu has definitely stepped up his game, incredibly stepped up his game this year.
Yeah,
and I think he's taken on a new. He understands that, especially with Kwanzaa being his almost like one of his disciples, I guess. That he has to compete with for that right center back position. I think he's taken it as a challenge this year, and I'm glad to see that he's really taken it to heart to really put his best efforts out there.
Also,
let's move on to someone that.
Matt, with his injury, Kanate knew it's his game time now. and I think he stepped up.
Yeah, for sure. There's this player is very interesting because some people are starting to get off the Robbo boat, which is unfortunate. I'm not one of them. I'm still very team Robbo. But how did you feel about Robbo's play yesterday? How did you feel about Andrew Robertson?
Andy Robertson, he has one good shot. Unfortunately, it was deflected away for the corner when he thought he scored, in the second half. He was steady. That's all I'm going to say about Robbo. He was steady. And and he's getting back to fitness as well. Now, I might be a little controversial here, but I would rather have seen Semikas there. Semikas is more solid than him now. But
oh wow, that is kind of
but
wow.
I'd give him a 7.5 for yesterday, and that 0.5 is for the shot he had.
Okay.
He's terrible with corners, and I'm talking about taking them, and I'm talking about defending them as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
I would say,
Go ahead.
For me,
and I'll bring up some statistics. I'll bring up some statistics for Robbo yesterday. He had 1 clearance, 2 tackles. He played 60 minutes, had 81 touches, 89% for his passing, 4 key passes. He had 4 key passes. Was 3 out of 9 for his crosses, 1 for 3 for long balls, 3 out of 4 for ground duels, 1 out of 2 for aerial duels. Obviously, one of the noticeable aerial duels was the one he got the yellow card for, which was a silly foul. That was a very silly foul. And was fouled once and had, as Frank pointed out, he had 1 shot on target. What was your rating on Robbo? And I'll bring up the chat's ratings.
Well, I think when the team gets a clean sheet, I always give the guys a 7, unless you do something more special. So I'm going to give him a 7. I think with Robertson, what it is with Robertson, he's always too fast. Like, that where he got the yellow card, he sort of ran into the guy, and that's what Robertson does sometimes. He's just like a headless chicken. He did it against the first game he came back. He did it in that game. It was so funny. I said, that's Robertson, man. I think sometimes he needs to calculate the situation better and reserve that energy. He's full of energy, Robertson. I think I'm pretty impressed with his fitness, actually. Like yesterday, he got his foot in there a few times, if you didn't notice that, where the guy had the ball, he just came in.
Yeah, I did.
And that was good. And that's what I like about him. He's snappy, and to have him and Simikas as our left backs. Simikas, I know Frank likes Simikas. I like Simikas as well.
Yeah.
His crossing is good. He's got a good attitude as well. So we've got 2 left backs who are good attitude, good guys. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the chat has it as Honesty has Robertson at an 8. Norman had him at a 6.5 yesterday. Okay. He says 6.5 for Robbo, still not fully fit in his opinion. Which is probably why we did only see 60 minutes out of him. Robbo for KJ was an 8. TW74 said he was a 7. Yeah, he was. He is just getting back from an illness.
Exactly.
Honesty says he was said he was pissed off when Klopp took him off instead of Joey G. Very interesting. But then you wouldn't have been able to see Simikas most likely really get involved in the game if he hadn't. What else is there? Is anyone any more ratings? No. And then Bajan Pops gave him a 7.5. Looks like Robbo is going to have to rock into that 7 spot. Very interesting. How about for Joey G? How about for Joey G? For Gomez, who started the game? I think he played 3 positions at least in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Played DM, he played left back, he played right back, right? Again, I commend this young man for the resilience that he's shown to battle back from injuries, to battle back from very poor form, to be still a light for the locker room, for the youth players that call upon him for guidance, and to kind of block out a lot of the fan base's call for him never to play for us again in some attributes. You got to commend his commitment to the badge.
Yeah.
If you look at his picture, he's pointing to the badge. It means a lot to him. So, how are you feeling about Joey G's performance yesterday, Frank? What would you say for Gomez's performance?
I'll say this about Joe, and your assessment there of him. Yes, he's come through some terrible adversity, unfortunately. From fans. And then now, this is why Tottenham went after him. They tried to sign him. Because to me, and I've said this, and I think you've heard me saying this before, to be honest, well, and JK, I certainly, to me, he's the finest, shall I say, centre-back. He can play, versatile centre-back, that is, in the Premiership, because he can play anywhere. He can play left back, right back, right-sided centre-back, left-sided centre-back. And that's what he's been playing for Liverpool because of these injuries and whatever. He's been there. He's been constant. He's been given very, very good performances. Yesterday's game, he was there again. He was playing out of position, but he was still giving a solid performance. And I'll give Big Joe. And you're right there, what you said about him with the badge. And he just carries on. He doesn't moan. He doesn't do anything. He just carries on with his game. And yesterday, I'll give him an 8.
Okay. JK?
Yeah, exactly what Frank said there. I'm going to give him an 8 as well because he played numerous positions. He's the longest serving player under Klopp. And I think because of his attitude, that's the reason behind that. And that just shows you, he's, for me, probably the perfect professional. He's a good guy as well. Like, you never hear nothing bad about him, ever, since he's been with us. So that's kept him at the club for that long. And for this season alone, I'm just grateful that we've had him there, And this is why I say sometimes to fans that don't get on players' backs, because one day they'll come back and we need them. And Gomez is one of them guys. So I'm going to give him
I would definitely
8 for yesterday. Yeah, give him an 8.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Nate. Okay. I was just going to add to that. If anyone hasn't seen the interview that he did with Liverpool, I think it was on LFC TV, I believe, or one of the channels. They do one where they have a commentator and they have a former legend interview some of the players, and they've interviewed like James Milner. They interviewed Curtis Jones. It really gives you some great insight into the players. It's not just a PR puff piece. It really allows for the player to kind of like give some insight into the arc of his career with Liverpool and some insights on the team. And that interview, they tackled some tough questions with Joey, and you really got you really got a sense of the humility that he has. He's a very humble person, and I think that's a very noble trait that he carries with him. And I'm glad to see him that he is a part of this team and that he wears the badge proudly. With that said, we have 2 8s. The chat thought yesterday he gave a 7. A lot of people don't. Norman gave him a 7. Don't like him in the DM. Let's see. TW74 gave him a 7. Okay. Honesty, that's going to bring down our average here. Joey G was a 5.5. man was mid. Most of former chances came when they just went past Joey G like he was Danny Phantom going ghost. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, Hudson Odoi skinned him on the left
KJ
wing.
gave him. Yeah, he did. He
Yeah,
did.
Hudson.
But
Yeah,
that front
Hudson
four,
Odoi
that front
yesterday.
four for
Ooh.
Forest is a good front. The front
Yeah, it
four
is.
is a good. It's a good squad there. They have a good squad, surprisingly so. I don't understand why they don't score more. Actually, to be honest with you.
And they're
KJ
not really
said
winning
standard
games.
7.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're not even winning games. No, they're not.
They're not winning games.
KJ gave him a standard 7, but he did look a little lost in the DM on Saturday. Honesty says he gets so many injuries since the season that he plays a lot of games. He hasn't been the same. And Ian joined you guys in giving him an 8. Ian says 8 from him as well for Joe. Norman wanted to also add, we don't give credit for signing Gomez for peanuts from Charlton. Okay, that's a good point. That is definitely a good point.
A long time ago.
And then finally, it was a long time ago. And finally, our last grade was one of our best players this season, but yesterday was a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A lot of low grades there. Saw a lot of 7s, 6s. I saw 5.5.
It was the Hudson Odoi one.
I don't know if I want to say he was a balloon.
Yeah, it was the Hudson Odoi when he just took him on the wing. I think average.
Yeah, that really hurt. That did hurt. Average is average. I'll put him in the back of the bus. For average. I feel a little bit harsh giving him a below average, considering that he played so many different roles and it's difficult. Yeah, like as in to say, if you're rating him just on his DM work, you're not doing it just service in the other roles that he served for us yesterday. How about for Clark? Clark.
Yeah,
I was going to say.
That you think?
How about for? Go ahead, JK. I know we have a little bit of a delay, so go ahead.
I just think when a defense gets a clean sheet and a goalkeeper, their lowest point they get is a 7. That's just straightforward. Unless he's getting skinned by a
yes, I understand.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree with JK there. I agree. Nothing but goes below 7. And that's one of the reasons why I gave Joe an 8, because he was playing a DM, and to play a DM is very hard, and that's another position that he had to play. He stuck him in there, and he stuck it well. He really stuck it well, albeit that it wasn't. He wasn't on. I don't know. I give him a solid 8 because of another position that he actually played, and that's why I gave him a solid 8. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Okay. I'm bringing up this because I'll explain the ratings for. If he doesn't have to be rude about it, but I'll bring it up and be as polite as I can. He says when doing ratings, please. Yeah, I know you like that. He says when doing ratings, please learn basic maths. I think he meant math, but maths. 7 is not average. 7 out of 10 is high. Average is 5. It's really not that difficult of a concept to grasp. I will say this because I was going to put it in there. Let me finish the thing. I was going to say the simple concept of what the numbers constitute towards is we've all gone to school, at least here in America. I believe it's somewhat similar in most countries. If you were to get a 70, you get a 1 out of 100. I know this is sometimes hard math, but 1 to 10 is the same relevance as 10 to 100. Okay, so if you were to get a 70 in America, you would get a C. A C is average. So if you get a 60, you get a D. If you get a 50, you get a failing grade. That's why these ratings are stacked the way they are. Okay, so I just want to make sure that concept is understood. Okay, no need to get personal with the the math.
No,
That's not necessarily my
out of the
best subject, but
educational
it is
system.
good.
You
You
know,
should drop your mic
Go ahead,
there.
Frank.
in alphabetical order. It's like our educational system because you get an A, you get a B, you get a C, you know, with pluses, by the way. So
Yeah.
you do get an A or an A
Exactly.
plus.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like our
Right.
educational system, and I follow that what you're saying. It's well to follow everything you're saying.
Right.
And I
Right.
do
So that's
understand
just it was difficult. I remember originally I don't know if Redbird is in the chat or not, but originally I'd come up with giving just letter grades for him, saying, is he an A? Was it a B? Was it a C performance? And everyone said, I don't want to go back to school. So 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 I try to make it easy. I try to make it easy and just give, obviously, the 9 is A, the 8 is a B, the C being average is C, D, and the final grade being an F. So that's how I brought it out. But all the same, now that we've gotten past that somewhat slightly awkward moment with the rating system here, let's just get back into it here, because I wanted to bring up a young man, and hopefully we didn't take away from his debut and the occurrence of his debut. But young Bobby Clark got his first start as a Red for the club in the Premier League. How did everyone feel about Bobby Clark? Again, if you need to, put in a letter grade, put in the word, put in the number, whatever makes you happy. Okay, I can do the conversions to figure out what it is. What were your feelings on Clark yesterday, Frank?
Well,
what was your grade? What would you rate Clark yesterday's performance?
Well, fellas, don't forget he's only a kid as well, and you know, for his first full game, starting as well in a Premiership in a very, very crucial match. It was crucial. The lad, you know, he did his best. He really went out and did his best. He tried to create. He did have a go, if you know what I mean. He did have a shot on a couple of occasions, and for that, he wasn't like, you know, he wasn't a standout player, not like Bradley or anything. But having said that, I'll give him, for yesterday's performance and his debut, I would have given him a 7. But for his debut,
a 7.
And the nerve, I don't think he had nerves, to be honest. I'm going to give him an extra 0.5, so 7.5.
Okay. How about for you, JK?
Clark, top attitude, Premiership debut. I'm going to give him a 7. He shields the ball very well, and he's got a good attitude, and sky's the limit for him as well. He's a little guy, but he's strong, so he's doing well.
Okay. Yeah, the chat agrees with what your ratings were as well. The chat, TW74 gave him a 7.5. KJ gave him a 7. Let's see. Ian gave him said Bobby Clark 7.5. Showed some nice little moments. Was unlucky with a couple of shots. He was possibly should have passed one of his shots. I think Harvey was a little bit angry that he didn't get the ball from Clark at one attempt. But Norman gave him a 7. A lot of 7s out there for the young lad in his first debut. And big up to him for that's a major accomplishment. Something to be proud of, for certain. We were speaking on I just spoke on actually Harvey Elliott. I know, or actually no. Let's go. I'd save McAllister for last, even though he's in the midfield. I'm gonna bring up Harvey Elliott yesterday. How were your feelings about Harvey Elliott? Since I just mentioned him, I'll just go to Harvey instead of McAllister. What were your feelings about Harvey's performance yesterday? One noticeable thing, when I don't know if you noticed or not. I don't know whether you guys were what broadcast you're watching, and if you got this angle of him going off the pitch. He was noticeably angry, very, very angry on the pitch. When he sat down, he was throwing the towel. He was just, you could see that he was mad. Now, I'm not certain if that was because I don't think that it was because he got called off. Like, he wasn't doing like a Mo Salah where, he just is not like getting subbed off. So he's angry. He's getting subbed off. But I think maybe he was just angry at his own performance or the level that he couldn't bring something to the team. It's just something I noticed. I don't know if anyone else noticed that or not. I don't necessarily want to say it's a concern, but I just wanted to point that out. It was something that
I've seen that. Yeah,
that I want to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
Frank, how did you rate? How'd you rate? You saw that too?
I agree with your analysis about him, actually. The 12th. I'll tell you what. He wasn't so proficient as he has been, put it that way, yesterday. And yeah, I think he was frustrated with his game rather than being subbed. That's the way I looked at it anyway. And, normally I've been given, if you're given, points out of 10 or numbers out of 10, I'd always give him an 8, possibly an 8.5. But yesterday,
above average. Would you call it above average?
I'm going to go and give him the same as I give, for the debut lad, Bobby Clark, 7.5.
Oh, okay. JK, what were your feelings on young Harvey Elliott's? Some do forget that Harvey Elliott, he's a young lad himself.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about these young players, and people just overlook the fact that I get that. We got some 21-year-olds and some 20-year-olds. I mean, Harvey Elliott's young himself. So
he's a veteran.
I think
he's a veteran. He's
20 years old. He's only 20 years old.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think out of all the youth players, he's the most comfortable on the ball.
Yeah.
Passing wise, he's stepped up. He switches the ball better now as well. He did it a few times yesterday. So respect to him. I'm gonna give him a 7 for. I'll give him an 8 for yesterday. He didn't stop. This week was probably his hardest week in a Liverpool shirt since he's been at the club. He played 3 big games, and I tell you the truth, impressed. He did what he had to do.
Frank,
and I think and I seen the. Oh yeah, I just like I seen the bit when he get called up when he got called off. I think he's either
I was going to ask that too.
Yeah, he's either wound up, he's got brought off, or he's wound up that he didn't do nothing to affect the game as such. It's one of the two.
I was about to ask you, Frank, the same question. What were your thoughts on that? Did you have a reasoning? Did you have in your mind? I know we can't read minds, but what was your feelings for that kind of flare up that he had on the sideline?
I think it was frustration. I think I mentioned that. I think it was more frustration when he came off, because to me, he realised as JK says, he didn't stop running. He can run everywhere, right through games. And it was, don't forget, it was his 3rd game. He went right through the cup final the week before, and I think Klopp seen that he was getting tired, and so it was the frustration of him being brought off, because he's a winner. He wants to see Liverpool win, and it was crucial that we won yesterday. But unfortunately, we weren't winning at the time. And, I think he thinks that he could have a go, from anywhere around the area and score. And I think that's his frustration. I could have scored there, why didn't he keep me on? So I think it affects us all, things like that. So when he was brought off, it was more frustration than anger. It's as simple as that. That's my opinion, by the way. It's more frustration than anger.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, I think it was more frustration. I agree with the winning concept that you said, that he has that winning concept, and the badge means a lot to him too. I think he really enjoys being a part of this club.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So it looks like a lot of sevens in the chat. Honesty said Harvey was 7. He was mad with his performance. Norman says, I felt sorry for Elliott. He has played last 3 games, knackered. Quality was not great yesterday, but he ran his socks off. He gave him a 7. Asian Pops gave him a 7. TW74 gave him a 7. KJ gave him a 7.5. And Vase of Flowers gave him a 7.5. He thought Harvey did well, but he would have awarded him a 7. Yeah. He says, out of all our regular first team squad, Harvey is the youngest regular starter. Yeah, that's true. And Philip says, though Elliott is young, he's not in Premier League experience. He's a veteran when it comes to Premier League experience. Definitely agree with that. So it looks like we're going to give him a 7. Give him a 7. Put him. I think he played better than all these guys here. Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. We already spoke on this gentleman. These next 2 gentlemen are two players that we've both spoken on. What was your rating for Cody Hackbo? What was your rating for Cody yesterday? Just didn't get into the game. Just couldn't find that channel, that niche that he needed to find yesterday. What was your rating for Cody yesterday, Frank?
Are you coming to me? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Can I just say before I give you my thing on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
The comments there are brilliant, actually. They're smashing comments, actually. So I've got to compliment the chatters there. Really have. Anyway, my thing on Cody. I'm going to compare 2 games he had. One the other night, which he was there to see, and one yesterday. And I've got to give him the same score. And I'm sorry to do this. I don't like
do it
criticizing any players. I don't like really to give them, a low mark, for example. But I'm putting my ex-lecturer's head on here. And I had to do this during essays where I had to give out, where I wanted them to do well, but they've been lazy and they haven't done it properly. And I used to give them an F, going back to education. So if they didn't try, that's what I'm saying, and I knew that they could do a lot better. So out of the 2 games and yesterday, don't forget he was subbed. And the lads who came on, young Dan's, he did more in a few minutes than he did all game. And I'm going to give him, unfortunately, a 4.
Okay. How about for you, JK?
I'm going to give Cody a 5. The guy tries, I can't really moan about that. But as you said earlier about him looking for the ball, he's looking for the game instead of let the game come to him. I think you knocked the nail on the head with that one. So I'm going to give him a 5.
Okay. Yeah, looks like the chat is with you on that too, by the way. Honesty gave him a 4. Let's see. KJ said Cody was anonymous, to be honest. He gave him a 6, which is very interesting. Norman gave him a 6. Okay, so everyone's those 2 grades are like below average. Give him a D, I guess, since we do have a professor in the house. TW74 gave him a 6.5. Ian says Cody for him was a 5, so he gave him a failing grade. And Vase of Flowers says I'd go 6 for Cody. He wasn't great, but he's trying. I like that people do. I do really commend when people notice that despite you're not getting the results, it's not that you've given up. Like you're still searching, you're still trying to give the effort to get some type of result. Sometimes people just throw their hands up and just say, why be bothered? And that's not what we get from Cody, at least. But I agree. I'm gonna have to put Cody again. This is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you, Cody, possibly. But I'm gonna have to put you in the failing grade there. A lot of failures in that. You got to do better, brother. You have to do better. Dustin, give him below average. Okay, I got you. The next is the other player we spoke of earlier, and that is Lucho. For Diaz, who everyone knows my love for Diaz, but Frank, what was your opinion on Diaz yesterday?
Diaz tried right through from the kickoff. He went up their defense. He tried to create something. He had a couple of goals, and he was very unlucky with one in the second half. Very unlucky when he just beat a couple of players and just hit it with his right after he cut in from the left. And it was unlucky. It just skimmed wide. To me, because of his endeavours, because of his trying, because of the badge as well, because of the badge. You watch him when someone scores, he's absolutely, like us all, we're all delighted, like the lads, all the players, they were ecstatic. But this lad, Lucio, absolutely, you just watch him next time you score and see him running over to the players. I'm not just saying that because of yesterday's game or whatever. Because of yesterday and because he terrorised there, he was the only one there. He was terrorising their defence until Darwin came on. And for his endeavours against them yesterday, I'm going to give him 8.
Okay. Wait, say your grade one more time for him. An 8. Okay. Above average. That's good. That's good. JK.
Yeah.
What were your feelings about him?
Diaz, you got to say he's a much better player he was, say, 6 months ago, for example, or 4 months ago. He's been through sort of a crazy time off the field and stuff. But you can see each game he's getting better. He's getting more of the ball, running more. He takes the pressure off the defense by running and taking the ball away from our defense. And I think that's his job in the team. He's a runner. He's a chess piece in the game. He's just like the bishop. He just carries the ball. He just does what he needs to do. And yeah, that's how I look at football, bro. It's just like a chess game. I think. Sometimes, like when you look at McAllister, for example, the guy is not fast at all. But yesterday, his mind made him do certain things with the ball that make him a better player than a guy who can run 100 miles per hour. So, for me, Diaz, yesterday, he was taking the pressure off the defense by carrying the ball for the majority of the game. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give him a 7 for yesterday.
Oh, okay. I wasn't for what you were saying. I wasn't expecting a 7.
I think
I think
a goal and an assist would give him that 8, 9. If you understand my point.
I just give him the 8, JK, because of what you've been saying. He was going at the defence, and he was obviously giving our defence some respite.
Yeah.
Every time he got that ball, he was direct, and that's what his game is all about. Not just yesterday, but every game is direct. He runs at those defences. Yep. So that's why I gave him an 8. And a solid 8, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to give him an 8 as well. I feel bad.
Look at that.
Yeah, I have to give him an 8. He was actually carrying us the attack nearly the whole game, you know. So
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been definitely the focal point for our attack the last couple of games, considering.
Absolutely.
And the chat agrees with you. The chat agrees with both of you. It says Honesty gave Lucho an 8. Beijing Pops gave him an 8. TW74 gave him an 8. Ian gave him an 8.5. Okay. Norman gave him a 7.5. Okay. Vase of Flowers Lee says, Diaz has been our best attacker recently in the absence of Nunez, Salah, and Diego. Agree with that completely. He gave an 8 for Lord Lucho. Okay. Dustin gave him 8.5. Yeah. Okay. It's a solid 8. Solid 8 for Lucho for sure. Solid 8. Last but not least, of our starters at least, Macca. McAllister, who has just continuously grown in performances, I think, this year. And for someone that was being definitely regarded as someone that might not fit into this team maybe early in the year because he's trying to make the 6 his own. And he obviously, a lot of people wanted him in that more advanced 8 role, but we had to, go with the vision of Klopp and put him in the 6. What were your feelings about our Macca yesterday, Frank? How were you feeling about Macca?
To be honest, I was looking at something today, and you're not going to believe this. Obviously, it wasn't a Liverpool fan. And said that McAllister was overrated, right? Overrated. And he's not going to make it. I think he was just trying to get at Liverpool and whatever. McAllister oozed class. Oozed it. You could see class coming out of him with every ball. The ball he gave for Darwin to score, look at it again. He got the ball, his back was to the goal. He had, you've got to be quick. You've got to be very quick. And he turns on a sixpence, as we call it over here, 12. He turns on that sixpence. He looked up and he seen where Darwin was. And it was a most perfect ball anybody could give. And it wasn't just that, he was using class. It was through the game. It was through what he was doing throughout the game. And that ball, though, to Nunez to score with seconds to go was absolute. One of the best balls I've seen, I'm being honest. One of the best balls. Him and Jota the other week when Jota headed it down and he ran onto Nunez, that is, and just buried it there. It was against Brentford. Absolutely amazing. So to me, yesterday, and for that stupid person who said that he's overrated, I'd say, no, I'm just going to give him a 10, solid 10. If he was an 11, no, I'll tell you what, I'll give him a 10 plus. Like, I'll go back to education.
10 plus,
like
okay.
I'll give him a 10.
Real quick, Norman has a comment for you, Frank. He says, Frank, it was a Daglish type of ball, yes?
Oh,
he said it was a Kenny type of ball.
The old school, like myself, obviously. And it was to Ian Rush. He used to give those little balls to Ian Rush. He used to dink them, bury them. Every ball that Dalglish gave. So, totally agree with Norman there. Couldn't put it any better. Yes.
Yeah. Ian agrees with you as well. He says spot on, Norman. Was like a Kenny pass. Like a King Kenny pass, yes, for sure. How about for you, JK? What was your rating on Macca? And then I'll get
yesterday in that second half, he did some touches that showed me his quality. Why we went after him. And yesterday, Endo was on the pitch when he did that bit of trickery to get the assist. I think what happened to him, he was being played in the sixth position, and not every fan was really hot on him, you know. Where me, I actually seen the interceptions he used to make. I watched all the interceptions. Each game he played the six, he was making a lot of interceptions, close tackles, and I seen that in him. And now he's got Endo. You've seen the creativity he's got. He's got it in him to pick them sort of passes out. And now you will see that side of his game. And it just makes me laugh. Like so many topics we are talking about, for example, months ago, and how it changes in football. You know, you've got to have the faith in players. Sometimes I think McAllister, he was told to play the six, where he didn't really want to play. He'd rather play up the top of it, where he can get those type of assists in the game, where people notice what he's doing in a match. When he was playing the six, he wasn't getting no goals, no assists.
Right.
Now, yesterday, he got the assist, and people remember him for that assist. Yeah, it was a bit like Kenny Dalglish sort of style. I'm going to give him a 9 yesterday.
A 9, okay.
I'm going to give him a 9.
I was going to say this for Mac. Yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Complete your thought. I'm sorry.
No, just the way he brought that ball down and just controlled that little situation where he turned his back on the guy, what Frank was saying, and then he just clipped it back post. It was just like when you play football in the park, it was so simple, but he just did it. Yeah. It was really good, really good.
Yeah. I'll go through and then I'll give my own comment. So make sure to keep the chat involved here. Norman says, I'm giving Mac a 7 up to 99 minutes and an extra point for the delicate pass for Nunez goal. So 8 for him. Honesty said 9.5 for the El Maestro. TW said he gave him a 9. A lot of 9s here. Honesty a 9.5. El Maestro. Mac 10. KJ gave him an 8.5. Let's see. El Maestro, it gets a shout out for El Maestro from Lee. Vase of Flowers. Beijing Pops LFC gave him a 10. Ian says, if anyone can, 12 Macca can. 9.5. Guy is a Rolls Royce of a midfielder. Yeah, he's certainly been a really, really incredible steal for us. What we got him for, an incredible steal. Let's see, any other ratings for him? KJ says, I've been paying close attention to Macca since we signed him, but just watch his chemistry he has with Darwin. That's absolutely, they're best of friends on this team, by the way. Constantly looking and scanning to see how he can set Nunez up on his way. I think the comments that he puts out there are just signs that he does really, really appreciate the play that we get from him. I'll even give you a quote that he said. Okay, and let me. I'll bring it up here in a second. Here, let me find it. But Macca is certainly tuned in to trying to get Darwin back into the game, and he understands his importance to us in this game or on this team. And it's something. Let me see if I can find the actual statement, because it was a great statement too, but I don't think I have it ready, unfortunately. Basically, I'll give you the paraphrase of it. He just basically said that he really knows that Darwin is such an important piece to this team that it's important for him to get involved. He realizes that he's our striker, and that he also realizes that our team is a better team with Nunez. So it's just an acknowledgement of he understands the importance of this player to our team. And I like when players acknowledge the fact of, what it is that makes this team work. And it's something that we've seen with this performances as of late. Let's see. So let's give Mac a clear 9. Top tier. I put him in top tier again so that he'll be a candidate for the final man of the match. There's a lot of I'm going to go through the bench players more quickly, but all these bench players, which was really good, is that as soon as Endo and Darwin came in for us at the 60th minute, the game turned for us, I think. I think the game really stepped up a slight level and continuously progressed to that, that conundrum or that pivotal piece that we needed it to come to. The crescendo, that's the word I'm looking for, with Darwin's goal. Let's go with Endo. What would you rate Endo? Frank, you want to give a rating for our Japanese warrior, our Japanese samurai?
Yeah, when he came on again, he had to try and get into the game. I'm just going to give him a 7.5.
Okay. How about for you, JK?
And they came on and gave the opportunity to McAllister to push forward. And also we got a little touch on the ball that went to McAllister for him to get that assist. So I'm going to give him an 8 when he just came on. He's got a good attitude, Endo. He's a proper professional.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I think very valuable from now until the end of the season. And look, a few weeks ago, he just got injured as well. He left the game with a boot on, the big boot, to protect him.
Yeah.
And he's already back in. He's already back
foul
playing.
given from Casado. From Casado getting that foul too, by the way. Yeah.
There you go. Casado was on a mission that day to hurt us for some reason.
Yeah.
I think he was sad that we didn't buy him.
I think he regrets that we didn't. I think he has regrets.
He has
regrets.
He has.
He got his anger. The chat said, let's get some of these Warrior comments in here. Honesty gave Endo an 8. KJ gave him an 8. Norman said Endo just gave us more solid of a look when he came on with a 7.5 for him. TW gave him an 8.5. Ian gave him an 8. And Vase of Flowers gave him an 8. He called him Earl Endo. I like how Lee's giving out royal titles to some of these players. Interesting. I know the Royals are not favorites of Liverpool. I get that, but we will create our own Royals. How about that? We're creating our own Royals.
There you go. Yeah.
And also, if everyone gets a chance, I'll see if I can pull it up. But Endo has a book, by the way. I don't know if anyone knew that or not. And it's called Duel, Duel. It's called Duel. And I believe it's only in Japanese. That's the only version I've been able to find of it. I'm looking for an English version. If anyone finds it, let me know. I would love to try to give it a read, by the way. And it's just basically his concept of what it takes to be the DM, what it takes to be the player for Japan, the player for that is a talisman for Japan in the international market, meaning his play in Belgium, his play in Germany, now his play in England, being a player that's representing Japan completely. All right, let's move on to. Let's move on to Darwin, I guess. Since he did come in, I mentioned him earlier. He's the savior of the game for us. How do you feel about our Nunez? How do you feel about Darwin, Frank?
Well, I was hoping that he'd come on against Southampton to give him some minutes. I really was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a supposed like, to be honest. I hope they come on and give some minutes during the Southampton game, but he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came on yesterday, I was elated. I really was elated because, there's Lucio. He was trying his best, to get at the defences and everything else. And then when Nunez came on, he was the other option. He was an option that could do something. He's not called Captain Chaos for nothing. He's the sort of player that terrifies any defence, and I'm talking any defence, whether it's domestic, whether it's Europe, he torments them. It's as simple as that. Remember when we played against them, and he terrified us, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that's what
Champions League game. Champions League game. Yeah.
And I'm going to give him 9.5. All right, he was just a substitute, but he came on and he did what he had to do. He did it, and he did it remarkably well. That header, and you could see the passion that he had when he ran over to our fans. And I just wish I could say to him, "Stop kicking boards."
I know.
I
know.
Yeah.
I know.
That's what I wanted to tell him, Frank. I was like, bro, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
That's what
I know. He's got to learn. He's got to learn to rein in just a little bit. You just got off the injury list, and you're kicking signboards because you're just so amped up. I was like, "What are you doing, Darwin?" Next thing you know, we're gonna hear you got like a foot injury or something. Let's not even bring that into the universe here. Let's just keep that where it should stay.
Keep them words out of your mouth.
So I gave him a 9 for his substitution, and the 0.5. There's a reason why I give him the 0.5 for his goal. 9.5.
Okay. Yeah, 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, JK.
I'm going to give him a 10. I'm giving him a 10 because within the minutes he was on the pitch, he created 3 or 4 sort of chances within that time. And that just shows you the mentality of the guy. He's 100 miles per hour. He isn't a guy who's going to sit there sulking. He's going to give 100%, and just the way he took that goal as well. He wasn't offside. He sort of just ran it. It was just perfect the way he just did it, and he caused them a bit of grief at the end of the game. So I'm going to give him a 10. And that goal, when that goal went in, I just seen loads of fans who 8 months ago were on his back all the time. They made shows just on that guy. That topic was, why isn't Darwin Núñez good for Liverpool FC? And I'm thinking them same guys now were cheering yesterday. So yeah,
hey,
for me, man of the match.
It's the reason why the title for today's episode, I'm not going to say the explicit, but they were saying, Merde, I'll say it in French. How about that? Merde, Andy Carroll, right? They're saying Merde, Andy Carroll, which absolutely, I don't even think that he knows who Andy Carroll is, to be honest with you. I don't think Darwin knows who the player is. So I don't think it affects him the way that people think it affects him. He probably hears the Merde part, and that affects him. But yeah, I don't know. You know what though? I don't even know if anything affects this young man. He just brushes his shoulders off and just keeps on going. He's absolutely a great. He's got that Mamba mentality, which is what we call here in America, or it's synonymous with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is a basketball player. He put it out there that he has the Mamba mentality. That means the mentality of no matter how poorly you're doing, you believe the next opportunity will bring you success, and you just keep going at that, keep going it at 100%, and that's what we get out of young Darwin. I'm gonna give him.
Can I say something?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Like JK said before, I know those lads who go away and they never miss a match, home or away. Whether it's in, do you ever remember when we went to Australia a couple of years ago? They were there. They went to Australia for the family, right? For warm-up. They'll be there this coming summer in America, just supporting the Reds. And the same lads love Nunes, and they've never criticised him.
Yes, they do.
Honestly, they haven't.
Yeah. It's very.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
but the lads who I know who go to every game, home and away, have never criticised. They won't allow anyone to criticise any Liverpool player, by the way.
Yeah.
They just said,
We need them.
Yeah,
we need them. I mean, the criticizing isn't doing anything, especially when you're at the pitch. The last thing you want to do is, get the player even more depressed. You want to bring the best out of them. You want to encourage them, not bring them down. So
absolutely.
I agree. The chat says, and then I'll give my rating, because I definitely want to give a rating for Nunez since he's here. He's looking the other way, and I know some people have a problem with this hairstyle, but it's okay. It's okay. Nunez for Norman Nunez gets a 9 because he made Forrest's back four retreat when he came on. He was direct, and then the goal get in. He says, Honesty says La Pantera. Darwin a 9. Bayesian Pop says Nunez 10. KJ says 10. Without that goal, we'd all be experiencing a different type of mood right now. Spot on with that comment.
Spot on.
Okay. Norman says about Keegan and Suarez were like that, just causing chaos for us during their playing time for us. TW says Nunez gets a 9 from him. Face of Flowers says, yeah, it was a sweet cameo performance. 9 is my mark for Darwin. Phillips says Nunez, man of the match for scoring that all-important winning goal. KJ says the ad board is apparently out for the ad board is apparently out for 4 weeks due to a smashed screen. So basically, KJ saying that Darwin injured the advertising board. That's funny. Norman, he says he was kicking boards in anger at Phil for being screamed at by Forest fans. Quite possibly. Ian says 9 for Darwin. What a header. Great to have him back. Absolutely agree with that one. And any other ratings for him? Let's see. I think that's it. But I was going to give him a 9.9. I don't normally give the decimal points. I normally don't give 9 points. I usually go with a 9 or a 10. But I'll give him a 9.9 since it was in the 99th minute. How about that?
I like that.
I'm big on my I like numerology type things. I like the numbers. So I'll give him a 9.9 for the 99th minute goal scorer. We got a return from Dominic Szoboszlai yesterday. Much needed, much welcomed return because we're going to need him in not necessarily. I'm not focusing on him being actively, a big minute grabber in the Prague game, but we need him. We need him ready and able for that City matchup coming up. What were your ratings on who, as Honesty it so fittingly calls him, the boss? Okay. What was your rating on the boss, Frank? Dominic Szoboszlai?
I was just made up to see him, to be honest. I was absolutely delighted. And when where I was situated at the ground, not yesterday, the other night at Anfield, I was directly over the tunnel where they come in and out. And I was looking at him when he was just, walking about and whatever, never seen one sign of a limp. And I said to myself, he'll be ready for a few minutes on Saturday. And I was right. I was absolutely right. Point is, I was made up just to see him. Just made up, absolutely. he hardly done anything. But I was just made up that he was getting those few minutes. I really was. And I think he's getting ready for the Manchester City game. And I think he'll have more minutes again on Thursday when we play Prague. So therefore, I'm just going to give him a 7. I'm going to give him a 7, just for showing up, for getting those couple of minutes in, for me being delighted that he's back.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was looking at Mr. Flowers said that the FA said Darwin's attack on the advertising boardings was dangerous play because he went studs up against them. Maybe he got a yellow card for that. I don't know. I mean, with Tierney, you never know. How about for you, JK?
As Frank said, for him turning up, it was so good to see him, Darwin, and Endo. That was another cherry on the cake yesterday. We got the 3 points and we got them 3 guys back. So yesterday was all in all a good day for us. I'm going to give him a 7.
7.
He wasn't really on for long, but I'm just happy to see him on the pitch again because he's a runner. That's his job in the team. He's a runner. You don't stop that guy. I think this season sort of been a culture shock for him compared to his Leipzig days where he was more of an attacking force. So Klopp sort of molded him into a more
on his defense.
Yeah, and more like all-round midfield player now. So he's learned that from Klopp. Okay, he's caused a bit of grief with his hamstrings, but no pain, no gain.
Yeah. As Bayesian Pop says, as the Bayesian Reds likes to say, at least, no foul, no blood, no foul. So yeah.
That's amazing.
And the chat seems to agree with you guys as well for Dom. Honestly, gave the boss a 7. Norman gave him a 6, a little bit below average performance for him. And hey, how about this? This is great. This is showing love. Norman said to both of you that he's giving Frank and Jay Kismet a 10 each for being great panelists. That's so kind.
Nice one, brother. But who's man of the match, though? 12 man is 12 man of the match, though.
No, I can't be a candidate. I can't be a man of the match for my own show.
10.5.
It's only for the guests. Yes, it's only for the guests. Vase of Flowers gave him a 7. Yeah, it looks like it's 7s all around for Dominic. These next 2 players came in. We'll do Simicast first. What were your ratings for Simicast? You mentioned earlier that you like, his crossing ability and such more so than Robbo's. You got an opportunity. He probably was brought on for specifically those reasons. What were your ratings for Simicast?
My ratings when he came on, he didn't put a foot. He made one mistake. I think it was that game, but he recovered. Immediately. So I'm going to give him, albeit that he was on for the last half hour, I'm going to give him I'd have to give him more than Clark. So I'm going to give him an 8. I'm going to give Simicast an 8.
Okay. How about for you, JK?
Same as, bro. I'll give him an 8 as well because as soon as he got on the pitch, he was looking to attack.
That's interesting. Okay.
He had that shot where Sabotso took the corner and he took that shot, and from that shot, we sort of got McAllister got the ball, and we got a goal. So yeah, an 8. I like his attitude, Simicast.
I can appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. And much love to KJ and to Norman for the kind words, by the way. In case you don't see it in the chat, I appreciate the kind words. But Ian says he gave him a 7.5. The Greek Scouse is a 7.5 from Ian. Lee, Vase of Flowers, aka Vase of Flowers, says, I'll give KT an 8 too, because I'm in a good mood. He's in a good mood. Okay. A lot of people tend to be in a little bit more positive nature when they join this channel, which is a good thing. I like that. I like that a lot. I appreciate that, actually. No one wants to be surrounded by negativity, you know. Some people do. Some misery does love company, but I mean,
That's a good one. That's a good one.
but yeah. Okay, so yeah, okay. Looks like Simi's gonna get an 8. How about for I'll make sure I get honesty's vote Nary game was 7.5. How about for the young man Jaden Dans? Got a little bit of a reckless yellow card for not being able to hold down the enthusiasm by going into the keeper. But instant energy, wanted to make a difference, certainly wanted to make a difference, wanted to make a play. What were your feelings about the young man, Frank? JD.
I think he's great. I think I can see plays ever since I'm going back long before you lot were born, and I'm going back to the 70s really, when the likes of Alan Hansen made his debut for Liverpool from Partick Thistle, and the likes of Phil Thompson when he made his debut for Liverpool, and then you go up further, and when Steven Gerrard made his debut for Liverpool, and then you come to the present day, and when the likes of that young Bradley made his Trent, for example, I shouldn't have left out Trent, and he made his debut, and this young Bradley when he made his debut, and then this young lad Dans when he made his debut against Chelsea. It was the first time I ever seen that lad, and when he put in a header that just, was well saved by the keeper, could have won us the game, that header. And I said, this young lad, like going back to Trent, Bradley, Trent, and going right back to Alan Hansen, I said that all them players I mentioned are going to be great players for Liverpool. And this lad is going to be a great player for them. In other words, I'm not saying that I've got an eye for great potential who come on to be great, but I have some idea of a great player who's just come about, potentially, and every one of them I've mentioned have become great players. Young Bradley in such a very short space of time, and now this lad. So for me, saying all this about young, and don't forget, he should have had a penalty. He was dragged to the floor.
Perhaps. Thank you, Frank. Thank you. Go. You can definitely say something more about that if you like, but yeah.
He was dragged to the floor. Now, why he was dragged to the floor, Jota gets dragged to the floor every game when he plays. Dragged to the floor. He should have had loads of penalties. And why they drag these players to the floor is because they know that they are danger men. And they try to get away with it, which they do, unfortunately, especially against us. So, just for that alone, just because of what I've said as well, young Johnny, he's only on a minute or two. I'm going to give him an 8 because I love that lad. And as someone said, he's the Phil Lynott or Lynott of Liverpool. Brilliant. So, yes, I love the lad. And I think he will make it for us. I think he's going to be, and he's a scouser. So I'm made up and I'm going to give him a 8.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, Norman was saying, I've got to say the UK is very anti-Liverpool, yet all around the world, Liverpool and Scousers are loved and admired. That says a lot, universally admired by vast amounts of countries. It says the true character of Liverpool. It's one thing that I admire about Liverpool. It's one thing I'm proud to say one of the reasons why I do support that club is because of the city as well. I mean, the people, the city, and what it represents, and I do greatly appreciate that. JK, what is your statement on the performance of JD yesterday?
JD,
And then I'm going to bring the chat's questions in, and then we'll get to the man of the match.
When he was going to come on the pitch, Klopp told him, rustle some feathers. And that's what the brother did. That was his mission. Go on the pitch, disrupt them, do whatever you got to do. He went flying into the keeper and stuff. Keeper was on the floor for 5 days. So he did what he got told. He did what he had to do. And I've noticed that about him. He does what he needs to do. And you got at his age, you can't moan. You know, I'm going to give him an 8 for yesterday for just getting about and doing what he had to do. Okay. But his attitude is good. He looks like a good kid as well, like the rest of the youth players. They've all got this sense of respect for the club. And and that's Klopp, that is. People got to thank Klopp for what he's done to these youth players and what he's done for them. He's given them a good mindset for their careers now. They're set. If they follow the way Klopp's taught them, they're set. So that's a good thing. Yep.
Yeah. I didn't know that I didn't know. So basically you're saying that we must have hired on Simeone, and then he whispered into JD's ear, go take out the goalkeeper, because that's, I don't know, Klopp told him to go run into the goalkeeper. Rough him
just
up.
going to, you know, when you go to a nightclub and you see the guy who's had about 20 pints and he just wants to beat everyone up. That's what he had to do yesterday.
I thought it was the if you, I think what they say, I've never been incarcerated, but like they say, if you go to prison, you find the biggest guy and you punch him in the face. That's the first thing you do if you go to prison, apparently, or something like that. Is that what he told? I guess that was JD's instructions. Just go in there and punch him in the face. No. We don't advocate violence. We're not going to advocate violence. Let's not go there. Honesty says that he gave Dan's a 9, or excuse me, 7. Excuse me. KJ said this about Dan's. He said 8 for Dan's. Has the hunger I see in Ben Doak. Yes, I agree with that one. And a quick and healthy return to Ben Doak, by the way. And he says, I love to see it. The kid just wants to make an impact in whatever way he can. I'm here for it all. Ian says, Dan's 8, another lively showing up front. Vase of Flowers went on to say, for Dan's to play the way he has at his tenure years is mega. He gives him an 8. Norman gave him a 7. And let's see if there's anyone else that gave him. Vase of Flowers said also to add to the add to that Thin Lizzy, he said too, by the way, Frank, to the shout out for Phil. He says, yes, whiskey in the jar and many, many more. Bayesian Pops gave him an 8 for the added time. That's cool. I didn't think he was going to get that high of a rating, but that's great to see for the young man JD. I like the enthusiasm for him. I'll put him in that 8 category of above average. Last but not least, our Kaiser. We do a rating for the Kaiser actually as well. Did you think that he had Frank, how'd you like the decisions made by Jurgen yesterday to field the team he did, to do the substitutions that he did? Obviously, we got the result that we wanted, but all the same, did you think that he got it right? What kind of rating would you give him, Jurgen, yesterday?
I'd have to give him a 10, simply because we won. Simply because he realised he had to put on Nunes sometime, and Szoboszlai, and even Enzo. And bringing those 3, as I don't know whether it was you or JK or one of the wonderful commentators there, you know, the comments that he changed the game. They changed the game. They really did. Yeah. And we won the game. So for that, and to give all these young lads, you know, a go to say, get out there, show them what you can do, show the whole of the Premiership and the whole of the audiences around what you can do. And they did. They didn't let us down. So therefore, I'm going to give Jürgen a big, fat, juicy, lovable 10.
Okay. How about for you, JK?
Okay, but yesterday was the first time in all the years Klopp's been at the club I've heard opposition fans singing songs about him. Did you hear that, Frank?
Yeah,
12?
he did. And he was...
I never heard that before.
Discussed, by the way.
It was
Yeah.
crazy. I was like, what? Like, come on, Klopp and Pep have made the Premier League what it is, you know. Even Pep, like today, he's actually nervous about next Sunday. He's already nervous about next Sunday in the interview after the United game, and that's Klopp, you know. And then fans singing that yesterday was another reason that spurred me on to think, you know what, we're going to win this game. Like they were singing songs about Liverpool, then they started on Klopp, so they were picking on everything yesterday. So the way Klopp timed all his substitutions, the way he switched Gomez about, the way he brought Dan's on, and bringing back spots like Endo and Darwin, it has to be a 10 out of 10 yesterday. That was and we've not won at Forest since '84 away. So to get that as well in his last season, to get that far back is another good thing. So can we give more than 10?
You can give everything, anything you like.
Perfect away day.
Give whatever you like.
By the day.
It's your world, JK. It's your world.
Okay, I'll give him my house keys. Nah, but seriously, it was the perfect away day.
It's like spinal. It's like I was just gonna say. I know Frank is and please, if you enjoy movies, Frank does a show or does a show on movies as well. And I don't know if he's ever done the movie Spinal Tap. I don't know if he's ever done that movie. Have you seen that movie before, Frank? Where they go,
Spinal Tap.
Yeah, it goes where he talks about the he's got a special speaker. It doesn't go to 10, it goes to 11. So that was a special speaker in the Spinal Tap.
Very funny as well.
Yeah, getting back to it. How about for man of the match now? People, I'm asking the question. If you want your votes in, if you want them to count, how about that? If you want your votes to count, each of your votes do count. Please tell me who was your man of the match. Please choose from our candidates are Darwin, McAllister, Kelleher, VVD, and Ibu. So Konate, VVD, Kelleher, McAllister, or Nunez. Who was your man of the match? Frank, I'll give you the platform first, or the stage first.
My man of the match, and this is why I gave him 10, and that was McAllister. Because, as I said at the beginning when I was talking about McAllister, you could see how he used class out of everybody, out of the 22 players on that field. He oozed class. The fantastic ball, the vision, everything he had. Because without that ball, we would have drawn that game, if you know what I mean. And that's why I said I gave Darwin that 9.5, because I didn't want to put him in the category of a 10. Albeit I could have done, but still picked him, McAllister, as my man of the match. He's absolutely brilliant. And why I picked him also is when I read that stupid thing about I don't know whether he was a Chelsea fan or whatever, he just said that he's overrated, you know. And I thought, no, did you watch this fella play? Have you seen him play? And he was outstanding yesterday, right through the game. And, you know, that ball again, as I said, and as one of the lads said as well, I think it was Norman, and I think it was Ian McHale as well, who said it was like Kenny's chip, you know, and that's right. He did a Kenny Dalglish pass, and that won us the game in a game that was pivotal to us to win. We hadn't won there since 1984, as JK said. It was a bogey ground. Now we've broken that bogey, and all because of a Super 10 from McAllister.
Okay.
Nicely put, bro.
It's a sound reasoning, and it's a very, very valid choice. JK, who's your man of the match? And I'm going to put up, again, chat, please put your man of the match. I'm going to be sure to tally up everyone's votes and, put them to committee here.
Okay, normally we give
JK.
the players man of the match.
One of the 5 players that are in the top tier, you have to pick as your man of the match.
I was going to say Jurgen, bro. For me, yesterday, the way...
I knew that's where you were going with it.
But it's hard.
He could be manager of the match. He could be manager of the match, not man. Not
okay, that's cool. But when I look at the other 5 guys, I would have to go with McAllister as well. I think his coolness in the last part of the game, he took the ball down from the sky and just brought it down and turned so beautifully. I was like, that's the player right there. I think. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. That showed me McAllister at his best right there, and I was like, okay, he's arrived. And then he did that little chip for the goal. So I think he did a few passes that were a bit haywire, but all in all, his coolness sort of got us over the line. So he's my man of the match.
So there's 2 votes for McAllister, and people I put it, and so is JK has put Frank's page channel on there. Please do subscribe. Please do. You're helping out the community. It's important that we support Reds. It's a valuable trait that we can really have as a real testament of what we feel the Reds symbolizes. And that is support of each other and never allowing any of us to walk alone, which is important because a lot of us go through a lot of hardships. It does make a big difference knowing that we have each other as support. And in this community, it's not easy. So if we can, try to please support, subscribe, tell friends, your brothers, your sisters, your mom, your dad, it doesn't matter who it is, your enemies, tell everyone and anyone that they need to be a part of this so that you can bring hopefully some happiness into their lives, because that's what the Reds are bringing to most of ours. So,
Nicely put, bro.
Norman, excuse me, and it is Norman, right? It is Norman, my bad. It mixes me up sometimes. I'm sorry. That's why. Voted for Virgil. All love. He voted for Virgil for man of the match. So we got 1 vote for Virgil, 2 votes for Macca. Nunez gets Ian's vote for man of the match, which is an obvious. I mean, just wow, what a performance! What a guy. KJ gave Darwin his man of the match. So now there's 2 votes for Macca, 2 votes for Darwin, and 1 vote for VBD. Bayesian Pops is pushing Macca into the lead with a 3rd vote for Macca. Philip makes it a tie once again. Nunez, man of the match, as he thought until he came on, we weren't going to score. Yeah, I mean, yeah, unfortunately, there weren't that many options on that pitch that you could see getting a result, considering how much they expelled in energy and everything else on the pitch, trying to get some type of result. Let's see. TW gives Mac a shout for man of the match, pushing it to 4-3. Okay. And Cali Man gave it to Mac. All right. I thought that we were going to have Darwin. I thought Darwin was going to run away with this. This goes to show you how incredible the Mighty Reds Army here is, with their football IQ, their knowledge of the game, the importance of what players, really appreciating what players bring to the game. It's not always just about the goals and the assists, I guess, to everyone. They really value the fact of what you put on the pitch. And it looks like Macca is going to get it. I personally would have voted for, I personally would have voted for Kelleher, to be honest with you. I think this is now his third clean sheet. I love the fact that we've got a goalkeeper, again, that I mentioned earlier, that had a little bit of a shaky little beginning of a season or a campaign for us this year, but by him being our Europa goalkeeper, by him being our League Cup keeper, by him being occasionally our FA Cup keeper as well, he's gotten some more confidence. He's gotten some runs of games in him. And now that he's getting those consistent runs, 3 clean sheets in a row, Respect. I'm hoping we can push it to 4, if not 5, if not 6. Let's go. Let's even go that far. So that gets that City game in there. But all the same, looks like Frank and JK's choice of Mac gets man of the match for us here. And I'll put our manager of the match for JK up there with them. Jurgen can hand him the award. Jurgen can hand him the award for man of the match. So well done.
You know
well
what?
Done.
I would love to pass him the ratings of the players and see if he agrees with it. But these ratings there, I wonder if he would. I think he would as well. Yeah.
Maybe.
I think as well, the comments that was coming through, I think we all agreed. We averaged out agreeing with everything that we were all saying. By averaging out the players and whatever. So everyone was going along. But what we, not me saying and JK and yourself, it's what they were agreeing with, and when we were discussing the game, and so they know their football. They know their football, especially when one of the old school, Ian McHale and the other fella, Norman, said, about that pass that reminded him of Kenny's pass, down to Ian Rush and whatever. And he was right. And this is like football. This is football at its best. It's comments at the best. And you would have had a chart for the best looking goalkeeper in Europe. I think Kelleher was a 1 hands down.
Spot on. I got you. I understand.
I was just going to say.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say to Frank, great minds think alike, and I think Liverpool fan base on social media, for example,
absolutely,
they all agree. I think very rarely I see a Liverpool fan disagree. Yeah. You'll get the odd 1 or 2, maybe, but when you look at other fan bases, it's like craziness. There's some guys like this guy, some guys don't like this guy, and I say we can criticize players, but I think when you do it to an agenda level, it's not good. It's not looking pretty anymore. It's a bit tacky. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So that's why I like Liverpool.
Right.
That's why I think most of these guys who are in the chat as well support Liverpool because of the different mindset it brings to life in general compared to the other clubs, for example.
And don't forget,
I think what's great about it is. Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
Well, when we were talking about Gakpo, for example, the majority of us feel sorry for him. Not one turned around and said, get rid of him. Not one. Not one. And, you know, again, we said that he will come good. And I think JK mentioned it and myself about the Southampton game. When you've seen the potential of the lad, when he ran through, right through the middle, and had that shot, but you know, but that was the potential that lad has. And the goals he scored against Man United in the 7-0 drubbing of them, you know, the ball he got from Robbo, and he just like he feigns one way, went the other, and you know, bent it in the corner at the not the Cop end, the Anfield Road end, and the one he digged over, just very similar to what Dan's did the other night against Southampton when he dinked it. I'm talking about Gakpo here in the Cop end against the guy. You know, in the Manchester United goal there when he dinked it. Absolutely brilliant. That's the potential. And even when Marcus crossed this big blast across the goal and he got his head, it was, I forget who it was against. It wasn't Fulham, was it? It was Brentford. And the ball came across at such speed, he just headed it in. Cracking goal. You know, that's the vision of the lad. He's seen it, that ball coming through, and he headed it. You know what I mean? Some of the players would just that was too fast, but he had the vision to see it, and that's the potential of the lad. But unfortunately, his open play has to improve. Has to. He's got it in him. But at least no one said get rid of him. That's all that I'm saying on the matter about Gakpo.
Yeah. Okay. As Ian so put it, and KJ put some great comments in here too. Okay. KJ said we don't have massive divides in our fan base that creates negativity, drama, or any of the sort. And then Ian went on to go and say, "Unity is strength," as the famous banner says, and that's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Norman goes on to say, "No one wants him to succeed more than us all," meaning on Hackbo. They go on to say, "It's why we're different, and it's why 98% of us are all moving in the same direction, and that's why we have true momentum. Any time, any place, we always have the right kind of momentum going forward." But I want to say thank you to my guests. Thank you to Brian that had to depart to do some other work. But big up to Brian. As always, I'd like to give thanks to the undefeated Mighty Red Army that is the chat. They're so great. They contribute. They hang in there. They give their comments. They include their ratings. They interact with us. That's what's necessary. That's what's needed, and that's what's greatly appreciated. Thank you to the chat. I'd like to thank, obviously, again, our local Liverpool legend, Mr. Frank Carlisle. Thank you for joining us today. And also, I'll give you a chance to, again, tell the people where they can find your channel and what they can expect to find when they do go to your channel.
They find a lot of... it's fun, actually, as well, you know. You find but they're all good lads. Every single one of them. And they all come out with these comments. And the comments, just like your good self there, 12, they get read. They get read out of discussed as well. Because I say like a comment came out and said, "Oh, what about it? What team do you reckon that will be put out against Prague, for example?" And we discussed them, and there's some different comments coming out, putting different players in. Do you agree with that? This is what I asked the panel, and you come on my panel as well. And so,
right.
It's that sort of podcast. I say. 12 days. Here's what I say to the people out there. the chatters, as I call them. It's your channel. We're interacting with you. If you want to put a comment on, put it on. We'll discuss it. If you ever want to come on in the future, just send details and I'll have you on discussing about Liverpool, about the fans, about the club, about the team, about the management, and about the controversy surrounding what other fans say, around the country about Liverpool's football club. So that's what my channel's all about.
Okay. JK, I know someone asked if you had a channel, but I said you don't. You're a Ronin. I know that Frank is a historian. He knows what Ronins are. So
That's why I am.
Samurai with no master.
That's the one.
Do you want to give a parting shot as we land this plane?
Yeah, I just want to say big up to the chat. It's we're all Liverpool fans, and I like reading other people's opinions on players, the game, and without the chat, the shows wouldn't flow. And yeah, it's good.
Absolutely.
And just subscribe to Alf and Frank on their channels and stuff.
Yes.
And it was nice being on the show today.
Yeah, if you haven't, yes, thank you. I was gonna say you haven't, definitely. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's your duty, but to me, it is one of the things that I hold as a duty. I try to commit and support all the Reds community as much as I can, because as I'm sure we could probably start a whole other episode on about how the Scousers or Liverpoolians are treated, by some of their English counterparts. They recognize that you have to understand that we are all we got. So, you have to support. It's the rally around the flag kind of concept, and that we are definitely a part of this global community. And even though we don't live in Liverpool, our hearts are in Liverpool. That's how I see it. So, definitely appreciate everyone's kind words in the chat. I appreciate, obviously, again, JK, for you joining us today. And Frank, thank you for joining me today for this fun rating show. A lot of people had a great time with it. We had a lot of good participants, and everyone stuck it out to the end, which is good. We were on here for over 3 hours, and it's been a fun little ride.
It's been great. It's for the first time that I've been invited on, it's been a real pleasure. Really has. With JK, and obviously your good self and your little channel. And obviously you come on my channel. JK is a regular guest as well on my channel. And it's as you mentioned about Liverpool, the chats on Liverpool and the fans and whatever. Liverpool Football Club is one big family. That's what it is. It's a family.
Right.
We let nobody penetrate us with their vileness. We don't allow it, and we fight back. This is what the point is. We fight back. Any politicians or anything about my city, we fight back. Anything about our club and about our fans, we fight back. But now it's become water off a duck's back. But when Klopp listened to that, I think it was the first time that he was listening to what they were saying. And he was disgusted. And he just stared at them for a full minute. Just try and watch it. Well, what's the point now? Because we know, because we're the family, and we just stick together. And we don't argue with anyone. All right, there's some opinions that we go. It's the norm. It's the norm.
Right.
I'd rather have him in the team rather than him, So, and that's the norm, and it's great. And it's just a big thank you for tonight, 12th man. Thank you so much.
Oh, no. It was an absolute pleasure having everyone on. And again, thank you for the chat, for joining us. We will be back tomorrow, same time. This is 7 o'clock hour in the UK. Look for Liverpool 12th Man. And and some of our distinguished guests. And we definitely need you here too. So definitely bring a friend or two with you, and let's all just talk about the team we love, the city we love, Liverpool, and enjoy this ride that we're on today and tomorrow, hopefully as well. It continues on. Long may it continue. So again, thank you, everyone. I will see you guys tomorrow, and be sure to take care of yourselves, as I always say, and even more so, be sure to take care of your loved ones in your lives, because as Frank said, we are a family, we are a community that is based and founded on family. So be sure to take care of your loved ones and take care of yourself. It's very important. Life is fragile, and it's important that we understand that. So enjoy this moment, and I will see you tomorrow, guys. Okay. Take care, guys.
Thank you.